interview with Lauren Khalil. It was great.
Which one?
The most recent, I think it was the most recent one. It was like 6 or 9 months ago. Like it was
Okay.
a full length one, not the clips.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the YouTube video. Thank you for watching that. I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really, really, really good. You were great on a podcast. You should do more podcasts.
Well, thank you. We do a podcast at the gym with Jared and my husband Jake and I sometimes. It's called Day One Perspective, and it started out as a podcast and turned into a training group. We actually like host these training days monthly through that. And it's all stemmed from doing the podcast because there was no one in the tactical game space doing a podcast. So we started doing our AARs on the weekends, kind of, live on the podcast. And for a lot of us, I mean, in tactical games, there's so many events across the year. There might be 8 regionals, I think, or 9, and then 1 national championship. And since they're so expensive, people can't go out to all of these regionals to, firsthand experience them. And so we're going out to like 4 a year and then doing nationals. So if we have insight to share with the people on what happened at this regional event, what we thought of the stages, what fitness elements we saw, what the shooting was like, relaying it to the community is helpful for them in their training too. So they can get a better gauge of what we're seeing in competition. So that they can practice those sort of things when they go and compete in their regional. I would say most people compete in like 1 to 2 tactical games events a year versus your sponsored shooters that are doing this more as like a side hustle part-time job get to compete in like 4 or 5. So that insight becomes valuable to people that want to optimize that one event that they're going to.
Jared is your husband?
No, so Jared owns Rattler CrossFit. He's our really good friend. He's my mentor.
Rattler, like rattlesnake? It's Rattler CrossFit like that?
Yeah, like a
that's
rattlesnake.
awesome.
Rattler
I love
CrossFit.
I love it.
So he is a great friend of ours. And then my husband is Jake. Jake and Jared used to work together. Jared used to own the tactical games, actually. So Jake worked for him there. And then I was just a competitor in this space and moved down here from Tennessee, from Cookeville. So yeah, I compete in the sport. Jake is kind of like my number one supporter. My husband, he competes with me. Sometimes we're competing together this weekend. And then Jared is our good friend. I would say that he pretty much taught me everything I know.
Oh, and I think Jared's been on this show a long time ago.
He has, yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny because it's sad how many people I can't connect to the show. Like I was at the CrossFit Games and I was like, someone's like, "Hi," and I'm like, "Hey." They're like, "You don't remember me?" I'm like, "Nope." They're like, "I was on the show." I was like, "Shit." But I give myself a pass. It's like thousands and thousands of shows now.
Right. Yeah, I can only imagine.
But I've never had a tactical games national champion. 2 years in a row, right?
2 years in a row.
And when are the championships this year?
November. They're always in November.
Okay, so it's not like 2025 still open for you to get to be a 3-time champ.
Yeah, we're going through for a 3-peat this year.
And the name is Jenay DeCaussin.
Yeah.
What is that last name, DeCaussin?
I don't know. I think that has some French origins to it.
Okay, because of the de.
Mm-hmm.
De. All right. I don't know any DeCaussin.
Yeah, I've never seen anyone with a similar last name, but I don't know.
Hey, it's good because then anyone who looks up your name can find you.
Yeah.
Like people will be like, "How do I get in touch with you?" I'm like, "Dude, just Google Sevon." It's like there's a lake and there's me. So many crossovers. I didn't know it until like as soon as I dig into you a little bit. I'm like, "Oh, she's a CrossFitter." And I love your post where you're like, "Oh shoot, I'm doing CrossFit instead of training for the tactical games. I can't drop this CrossFit thing." I love that stuff. Are you still coaching CrossFit?
Yeah, so my full-time job is coaching CrossFit and managing Rattler CrossFit, Jared's gym.
Oh shit. Okay. Oh, that's Jared's gym. Sorry. 6 a.m.
Yeah.
That's Jared's gym. Okay. Bear with me. I'm piecing it all together now. JD Vance, thank you. This is actually the Vice President of the United States. He speaks in code. Jenay, yeah, he's excited. He likes the Vice President loves guns.
I know Justin, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you do? Okay.
In tactical games.
You ever met the president, Mr. Trump?
No.
Does he call you after you? Maybe he'll call you this year after you win the tactical games.
Yeah, maybe it'll be important enough.
Yeah, congratulations, Jenay. Jenay, how old are you?
I'm 29.
29. Oh, so you're a youngin'. Here we go. The money's already pouring in. A day one perspective. Oh, thank you. Oh, and that's the tactical games logo.
So that's our training group.
So that's your training camp logo. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why you're so good at podcasts also. Not only do you do one, but you actually teach what I would call seminars. You have seminars?
Yeah, that's an interesting word for it. I would say it's more like an instructional training day. Seminar sounds a little bit more heavy.
Okay.
So we are holding an athlete camp in September. That would be, I guess, more like a seminar. But this is my first year instructing in any sort of way. I started out instructing a couple of good friends of mine that just wanted to learn how to shoot. So very basic level stuff like how to shoot a pistol, how to shoot a rifle. I'm not teaching anything super high level there. And then it kind of spawned into more interest from women that, especially I know from our CrossFit gym, that wanted to learn how to shoot. So I taught a women's only course on how to shoot a pistol and just basics and intermediate level stuff on that. And then with athlete camp, we've expanded a lot more. We're going to be teaching action shooting, long range, fitness that applies to TTG, and then marksmanship under duress, which is shooting for accuracy when you're tired. A lot of that, again, I told you in the beginning that like Jared has pretty much taught me most of what I know when it comes to the high level stuff in tactical games. So I would say that a lot of that knowledge is his, and I can relay that from what I've learned from him. So it's growing in complexity as we hold more training days and athlete camps of that kind of style. I feel rather new to the instructing game, but I'm learning a lot by just getting out there and doing it. So we hold these training days, and it's very affordable for people to come out, and it's just a few hours at the range. And not only are they getting the value of like going through drills that we put together and getting some light instruction from us, but also for me, I'm getting shaped as an instructor as well and learning how to apply maybe some stuff that, I use in the CrossFit gym to coach classes on the regular to now a different domain, which is shooting, teaching people how to do that, which is obviously a lot more, complex.
Did you put the curriculum together? I know you were giving Jared credit for, espousing all the knowledge and wisdom to you, but did you write the curriculum?
For these training days?
Like the flow of sorry, I'll use a better word for you. The flow of the course?
Yeah, I write I'll help to, put together a template in a direction that we can go and organize the day. And then, when we've done this at training day so far, I'm like, all right, Jared, you're going to teach barricades today with our shooters. And he just takes it from there. He would say that he doesn't really instruct often. Like he wouldn't take on someone who came to him and was like, hey, can you coach me on how to shoot? He doesn't usually work with like new shooters like that, but his depth of knowledge is so deep that I think it's just really natural for him to be like, oh, we're doing barricades. Okay. And then walk through your process in the same way that if you asked a CrossFit coach, hey, you're coaching the air squat today, you have your layout in your mind that comes up and you just run right through it naturally.
How many people take the course? We're like 2 hours into the interview. I have to go so far back, but since we're here, how many people who take the course don't do tactical games? Like, I hear my wife and her friends chatting sometime. They're like, oh, they've contacted Dave before, and they're like, hey, can we spend a couple hours with you at the ranch to, learn how to shoot? And Dave's always like, yeah, sure, no problem, come out. They haven't taken him up on it, but I've heard it for years. Mm-hmm. Like I'll be at a party or something. There'll be 5 ladies getting together. But they don't plan on doing tactical games. How many people who just come to be like, hey, I just want to learn how to handle a gun?
Yeah, a lot. I would say maybe half, if not.
That's cool. That's really cool. I love to hear that. Yeah.
It's cool. And it's really brought together a little shooting community in our area outside of just tactical games too, because there's these other domains like run and gun and pure shooting sports that don't have any fitness. And then there's also people, we just had a CrossFit coach from Austin come out that was learning to shoot for the first time. So that's actually the cool thing about tactical games in general, is it's a good bridge between the two worlds of shooting only and fitness only. It's unique in that way. I don't think that there's anything else that blends the two in a bridge like it does. So with our training, we're not really going out there and doing fitness and shooting at the range. Instead, I mean, we have a time or two, but most of what we do is just generally working on your skills for shooting. So with that said, we can host pure shooters and it's not too intimidating. We can also host pure fitness people, given that we're just teaching skill and they don't have to do anything under duress that they're not already really comfortable with fundamentally. So in that way, we've noticed in our little community, we've had people from all over, just like you're saying, like all different types of backgrounds and interests. And that's been a cool little uniting thing in our little community here in North Austin. So
give me an example of a skill, like cleaning the gun or holstering the gun or where the safety is or loading the gun. What are skills, gun skills?
Yeah, I would say maybe on the most basic level, how to do a clearing procedure, meaning how to unload the gun in a way that you know that it's completely safe after you've unloaded the gun.
When you unload a gun what's the final step in knowing that the gun is clear of all of its bullets?
Yeah, it's really simple. You just take out the magazine, which is the feed source, right, of the bullet. So you take out the magazine, you rack the slide, or if you have a rifle, pull the bolt back so that it ejects the round out. So now there's nothing in there. And when you rack the slide back, you can see into the chamber that it's empty. So you know when you send the slide forward and when you pull the trigger that it's not going to go bang because you just watched that round come out and there was nothing else to feed it because you took the magazine out. So drop the magazine, rack the slide. In that process, you see that there's nothing in it, and then you pull the trigger. So then it's dead.
Do you actually then, is there a final step where you actually pull the trigger?
Yeah. So mag out, rack the slide, pull the trigger. And when you do that, you still point your gun at the target.
You don't put it in your mouth?
No. If God forbid there was something in it, maybe.
Right. Okay. I was too embarrassed to ask if that was the final thing, so that's why I asked. So what's the final thing? But it is at the end. If to be 100% sure, then you pull the trigger. Yeah,
and we always still follow the rules of gun handling. So with that said, you keep the gun pointed downrange at your target so that if God forbid there was something in there, maybe you're moving a little too fast and you forgot to inspect the chamber or pull the bolt back or pull the slide back. You still had one in the chamber that when you pull the trigger, it's going to go bang, but at least it's in a safe direction on the target. That would still be a DQ now, technically, because you pulled the trigger expecting it not to go off and it went off. Does that make sense?
Right. It makes sense to me because I've just heard anecdotal stories from what Dave says. Like, Dave told me he was in a competition once with a friend. It was like a 2-day competition, and day one, his friend dropped his gun. He goes, I'm so angry. And I'm like, so what if you drop your gun? He goes, dude, you're automatically out if you drop your gun.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, really? And he goes, I guess the guy it was on him and it fell off when they were doing some sort of running or something. Is that a DQ in tactical games too, if you drop your gun?
Yeah. So this is kind of the cool part about tactical games that I think makes everyone feel more safe is when you're shooting your weapon in tactical games, you're only shooting it at the firing line. So if you can imagine a floor like the CrossFit games floor, right? Imagine the finish line is instead, you can see it in that. So where those white.
This is what made me, by the way, this is what made me think of it because I see you doing all this crazy shit, and the whole time I'm waiting for something to fall off your belt or off your chest. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh shit.
Right. So, okay, a couple of things. One, where those targets are, there's a line on the ground. So you're only drawing your weapon, loading it, making ready, bang, 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 shooting, dropping the magazine, clearing your weapon. So now it's completely dead. Holstering it if it's your pistol, or just laying it on the ground next to the line if it's your rifle, and then going to do fitness. And when you go do fitness with your pistol in your holster, you're required to have a level 2 retention holster. So that means there's a button to engage to draw. So you might see
Oh,
really fast shooting, they don't have that. You just kind of yank it out, right? So it would be really easy for it to fall out. But with the level 2 retention, it keeps it so it stays in there when you're doing the fitness. And again, a little safety mechanism built in. If it did fall out, you've already cleared it at the line. So everyone there knows that it's not going to hurt anyone.
so that gun on your hip right now, it's not only clipped in with a button to release it, but you're saying there's no bullets in it.
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
you never fitness with a hot pistol or rifle, meaning a loaded pistol or rifle. Right now, the rifles always stay staged up by the line, and your pistol stays in your holster. So even if it was hot, like it's not, it's in your holster, so it's not gonna, you can't engage the trigger to make it go bang. Anyways, but again, that added layers of protection of it's already cleared at the line and it's in a holster with extra retention so it doesn't fall out.
And if it did fall out, you're toast. You go home.
In tactical games, it's a stage DQ, so I would get a 0 for that stage because it's not a hot weapon. If in other shooting sports, you have a hot weapon in your holster or in your hands often.
Yeah.
So if it falls out, then it's a lot more serious of a thing. And you got to think, so like in tactical games, it's a very sobering thought to remember that you're shooting real guns next to you, right? Like you're at a firing line with 5 other athletes in a team match, 9 other athletes that are all shooting real guns that, could cause legit harm, at the same time. So with that said, tactical games does a great job about adding in all of those layers of protection, having judges at the line, ROs at the line to make sure everyone stays following the rules as to how to be safe, and then moving and doing the fitness stuff, which is, fairly dynamic. We're doing rope climbs, sandbag over burpees, like you're flinging your holster in all sorts of directions, right? So with that said, they add in all these layers of protection that make it possible for us to hold a really safe event, and be able to do these cool things that we get to do without having to worry about the safety aspect. I know back in the very early days of tactical games, they did fitness with their rifles on them. And although it's a cleared rifle, you're still flagging people with it. And the general gun rules are you never point your weapon at something you don't want to shoot. So it just feels wrong and was honestly unnecessary. I know there's stories of people falling from the ropes with their rifles and then busting up this rifle that potentially cost you a lot of money to make. Like scopes alone can be $1,000 to $4,000 just the rifle scope, right?
Yeah.
So with that said, you're already paying a lot of money to be there. So there's really no need to subject your equipment to that kind of danger either of what if I fall and break my rifle? That cost me a ton of money to build out as well and is really important to me. So yeah,
it would suck if you got impaled by your rifle too.
Knocked around by it?
Or you just fall on it and it fucking tears open your scrotum. You know what I mean? You land on it.
The only thing that I think we've done with the rifles is run with them, ruck run with them, and they're pointed either straight up or straight down on your back usually when you do that. Obviously cleared, have a chamber flag in it so you know it's cleared. And that's just
there's even a little flag you put in there. It's like a dummy bullet that has a red thing.
Yeah. It's a little it's just this little hook thing that you put inside of the chamber, and then you send the bolt forward on it, so it kind of pinches it in there.
Yeah.
And then everyone knows that it's clear because it has that little chamber flag hanging out of it. It's mainly a sign to everyone else that you've cleared your rifle.
Safety is a premium.
Yeah, it's really important in a sport like this, in my opinion, so that we can continue to do it. Obviously, one little slip up on standards with safety could be extremely detrimental to the entire sport. So they're pretty good about teaching us how to be safe and enforcing safety in general.
Isn't it crazy that someone invented this gun? Do you know the history of guns?
No, I don't.
I wonder when the first gun was made. What a crazy invention. Hey, you just go over to your buddy. It's you know what I mean? I don't know, 1000 BC. And you're like, hey, dude, look at this thing I made. You just pull the trigger and you can kill an animal or another man. They must have been tripping.
Yeah. That's a lot of high level engineering mechanics, I'm sure.
It was probably so much power to it. I mean, it still is a lot of power, but it was probably so much power at one point.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll make my kids watch a video on the invention of the gun.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Going back to that, the activities with the guns, are the gun, and I noticed that sometimes you guys are in rain, and I was watching one video and you were interviewing a guy, or some guy on your Instagram was talking about how he was in 4 inches of water. Are guns waterproof? If you're doing burpees and your gun gets submerged, are they waterproof? Or not waterproof, but do they still function after they've been soaked in water and then you get back up?
Yeah, there are some guns that are more resilient in that way than others. So a traditional Glock, which is like your more basic pistol, very attainable. What most people would get is probably a Glock.
That was your first gun, right? I think I remember you saying, yeah, you had the cheapest, most rudimentary gun when you started.
Yeah, I just had a Glock 34, very basic. I just switched the trigger out, but it's very resilient. So they say that you can toss it in mud, toss it in water, and it'll still run. And Jared, in that stage, I think that you're talking about, he had.
Oh, that's Jared. I've never seen. That's Jared in there.
I think it was. I don't know exactly what you're talking about. He did this stage with the sandbag over, and there's puddles of mud beneath each lane, which is like the essence of tactical games being open to the elements. Is you never know what you're going to get in that regard. So like doing sandbag overs at the gym, very consistent, very predictable. You know what you're going to get. And then you get out to tactical games and there might be rain that day that makes the bags feel literally 30 pounds heavier, maybe more, or mud that makes them slippery. So you have to be very adaptable in that way. But in that stage, he had this big mud puddle, as did many of the lanes. And every time he'd, put the bag over, all the mud and water would splash up. So obviously your stuff is literally covered. So that's where the benefit of having a Glock, which is way more reliable, but maybe not the most high performing gun, would be beneficial to you. It's kind of like a trade-off with anything. So the more expensive of guns, the more like fine-tuned guns that maybe run really fast and are really easy to shoot, might sacrifice the reliability, whereas a Glock, which is less expensive, less high performing in theory, is way more reliable. So it has that pro. So it's a trade-off on what you want to do. So there's like these things called 2011s that are, instead of like the striker fire Glock, they are metal framed hammer fire pistol. So they're heavier and they're really smooth to shoot and easy to shoot. That's, in layman's terms, that's what you need to know. And the price reflects that. But when you get them out in the elements, they are more apt to malfunction and fail you than something like a Glock, if that makes sense. So
will you switch your gun based on the weather? Based on the elements?
No, I'll just take more precaution about protecting my equipment. So in that match, I was running a 2011. I used a shower cap, a waterproof shower cap, to cover my pistol when I was doing the fitness. And then for the rifle, you can like lay a towel over it or something to help water and mud not get in it. Just as an example, right? You just have, so like I have to be more protective of my equipment because it's more apt to malfunction in the elements than the Glock used to be.
My boys have gone to the ranch a couple of times to shoot with Dave. And I do remember something like one of the guns they were shooting. I was like, oh, I should buy that gun for my kid and leave it up here. How much is that gun? I forget what he told me. Like $800 or something. I was like, okay, that's cool. And then he's like, but the scope is like $6,000. And I was like, oh fuck. And the scope was crazy. My kids were shooting squirrels and you couldn't see the squirrel with your eye. Like they were up on a hill.
Yeah.
And yet when you look through the scope, like you could like pick what you want. You could shoot his leg off if you wanted. You know what I mean? It was ridiculous.
Oh yeah. So that kind of stuff. I mean, for me, coming from being a CrossFit coach, you can imagine that my monthly intake from that is not incredibly high. Although I'm taken care of down here, but in my years of coaching CrossFit, like, so imagine, hardly making bills each month and then trying to afford something like tactical games. And in order to be competitive, you have to have some pretty high level stuff,
right?
To be competitive in the elite division and try to win on that kind of level. If you're just there to have fun and enjoy the experience, you can pretty much rock whatever you got. And I did that at first, for sure. But one of my favorite parts about tactical games is that it allowed me to win a lot of those high priced items. So by podiuming at regional events, at national events, I've been able to win a lot of equipment that I never would have had the money to buy outright on my own. And I probably wouldn't have known how to buy or like why to buy it. So for instance, my current rifle, I have a Night Force ATACR 1-8 on it, and that's kind of their higher line optic for a 1-8. Definitely higher priced. And I won my first one and was able to, you know, try that out because I won it and I really liked it. Now I have several of them, but pretty much all of the stuff I use for tactical games right now, I had to win. And that
so
was
there must be some wealthy people out there who have some crazy toys.
Yeah, for sure. So this is just, you know, imagine like the cost of getting all decked out in the gear for tactical games, and then paying for entry fees, travel expenses, because usually these are, you know, all over the United States. So you have to pay several $1,000 usually to like go and do a weekend, and then ammo to train, ammo for the weekend. If you want to be a high performer, then you're probably spending a significant amount of money on the ammunition that you're shooting to know that it's very consistent and true, versus shooting a lower quality ammo that is easier to buy, but is maybe more unpredictable. So there's all these layers of money that you're spending to be out there.
Do you make bullets yourself? Do you have a bullet maker?
I don't. Jared has one, and I've really enjoyed the process of getting to learn more about that. I hope one day I can. So with tactical games, there's just so much to learn. So I feel like learning about loading your own ammo was something that, you know, I'm gaining more knowledge as I go, to understand what he does when he loads the ammo and like how I can help in that. But I don't have the machines for it, and I don't have all of the knowledge for it. I'm still in the process of learning that. But yeah, like there's so much expenses and layers of expenses to competing. So with that in mind, like the ability to go and win some stuff for me is like the only way that I was able to continue doing this sport, along with sponsorship money as well to help cover the costs of going. But as far as gear goes, man, I have no idea how I would have ever afforded getting into the sport if there wasn't the chance to win things. So, and shout out to the sponsors too. I mean, there's companies that sponsor tactical games and they provide those gifts for the podium people. There was, for me, a lot of power in that. I mean, I showed up to, I'm thinking back to a couple of years ago, Utah. I literally drained my bank account to go out to tactical games, Utah, stayed with a friend. And, you know, I was out there trying to win a rifle specifically. I didn't have my own rifle to shoot yet. And I was like, I got to win this match because I knew it was sponsored by a rifle company. So the winner would win a rifle, Cobalt Kinetics rifle. And I was like, I have to win so that I can get a rifle and then give this borrowed one back to Jake, who I had borrowed it from. So, you know, it's tough to afford it all early on, but there is some power in it too, that back against the wall sort of feeling where you're like, I have to do good to make this worth the trip out. That was a fun season for sure.
I'll tell you a funny story. When Greg sold CrossFit, this highly woke regime came in, and Dave has a bullet making machine, and if you ever talk to him on the phone, there's a chance you'll hear the machine going. It's like a manual machine, like he's like doing stuff, right? So you hear all these clicking sounds and shit. And he was on a Zoom call with all these people, you know, who weren't CrossFitters, you know, like they came from tech, or like all the new executives. They were just, you know what I mean? They just brought in, instead of like real workers, they brought in like MBAs and shit like that, academics. And he's in a executive meeting. And after the executive meeting, he gets a call from the HR person, and he's like, hey, you know, were you making bullets during that meeting, that Zoom call? And Dave goes, yeah, why? And they go, because some of the staff feel threatened by it. And he goes, well, hey, I don't like them eating on the call.
That's awesome.
But I just love it because it's so on brand. That's our guy, right? Dave Castro, the guy who programs the CrossFit Games, former Navy SEAL, SEAL Team 6 operator. And what's he do during the call to like keep it, you know what I mean? Like I squeeze grippers sometimes, you know. What's he do? He's making bullets.
I
And
love it.
yeah, I love that story. But I just love it how he's like, I don't like people eating on the call. I'll stop making bullets if people stop eating. You know what I mean? I don't want to see people chewing. Yeah.
That's like normal for him. Or like, you know what I mean? That's awesome.
Totally normal. I mean, he lives out in the fucking middle of nowhere, and you know what I mean? He has his own gun range. It's like, just for him, it's just like a thing. You know what I mean? To keep his, like, you know, it's like rosary beads for him.
His content post CrossFit games seems like it's been a lot more shooting, and I've really enjoyed that.
His whole shooting thing is so cool, and I come from like again, I was raised in the Bay Area. Guns were bad, police were bad, all first responders were bad, and my friendship with him over the last 15 years has like just completely just let me shed all those nonsense stories that were just programmed into me.
Yeah.
And I've been to the ranch a couple times when there's shooting competitions going there, and it looks so fun. All the guys are just hanging out, laying on the ground together. Look, you know what I mean? They have all they're like little kids. They have all their toys and shit. And it's cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, even I'm guessing like even my nephews are into motocross, pretty high level motocross, and the shit that you see there is crazy, right? People pull up with, you know, $500,000 RVs and $200,000 trailers and motorcycles that go inside your RV. And it must be like that too with the gun people too. There must be a guy who has the fanciest truck and he opens up the back and there's the craziest gun case in it where you push a button and it rotates shelves and shit. Like, do you see all the just like this shit and you're like, holy shit?
I would say for the most part, when we go out to tactical games matches, it's more just your everyday people.
People, you know? Okay. Yeah.
Just more of your everyday people. A lot of our community is like LEO or military in the past, but there's plenty of just normal civilians too that I feel like, you know, they have normal lives, normal jobs, nothing crazy. Yeah. So it's a big deal that they get to like spend the money to go out there and shoot. I'm in that crowd for sure. So I would say, yeah, every once in a while you might see some decked out like Sprinter vans and cool stuff like that. But for the most part, just a bunch of average Joes at tactical games.
Where were you born?
I was born in San Diego because my dad was in the military at the time, but we quickly moved back to Michigan, which is where my parents were born and raised. I spent all of my upbringing in Michigan. I went to school at Michigan State. I did have family that lived in Colorado. My very close aunt and uncle and cousins lived in Colorado growing up. So I went back and forth to Colorado quite frequently. We spent a lot of summers out there, Christmases out there. So I feel like I was kind of like raised in both Michigan and Colorado, but mainly Michigan. And my family is all still there. So up in the north, there's not much to do besides play hockey. We literally were across the river from Canada. So I grew up playing ice hockey and played in college. And my family still has a beer league team today that they invite me back to play on literally monthly. Yeah.
This is your team?
Yeah, that was at Michigan State. That might have been my first year there, I think, or first or second year there. So yeah, it was an awesome experience. Definitely loved my years playing hockey. I feel like it made me very fierce and was a great outlet for aggression. And is very fast paced. So a lot of the like fierceness I feel in my heart today still reminds me of, you know, the days of playing hockey and like how aggression was celebrated, obviously with control. Like you can't just go and get penalties for nothing and screw the team. So is this cool balance of like being aggressive and fast and being a thinker really quick, which also still applies now, but having the self-control to not take it too far where you would screw the team. So yeah, those are some great years.
What branch? You said your dad was in the military?
Yeah, he was in the Marines.
So he was at Camp Pendleton?
I actually don't know all the places that he was stationed. I was so young when we left California. So if that's the only one that's there, yes. If there are multiple there, I'm not sure.
Okay. And do you know why he joined? Do you have siblings?
Yes, I have one older brother. He's 3 years older than me. And so when I was born, he was at the point where he could get out. So he called it there, given that my brother and I, were a lot for my mom and dad, and they wanted to move back closer to family to have some help with daycare. My mom and dad both work full time and worked back then full time. My dad actually ended up being a firefighter his whole life, recently retired. And then my mom is the jail administrator at one of the counties up there. So
shit. Wow.
yeah. So she worked her way up from just one of the basic entry-level jobs all the way to the top lady. So I'm super proud of her for that. They've always really embodied hard work for me. And, my mom being the wife of a military guy who has gone a lot, she's very independent and strong-willed, and instilled that in me too, growing up, for sure. So yeah, they worked hard to provide. I am so proud of their years of service to the community as well. My dad being obviously in the military, and then being a firefighter, I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And then my mom has, a lot of connection to the police world where she's at, being a JA, and, service looks different for everyone. So that's, her version of serve in her community. And I love that.
I think a lot of people, it's not talked about very often because people are always talking about kids wanting to make their parents proud. But at the end of the day, there's nothing you could say nicer about your parents than your kids saying what you just said about them when your kids are proud of you. Because when your kids are proud of you, like, that's huge, because that's your it's like getting a 5-star review on Yelp. You know what I mean? Because that's what you're servicing. And so when your kids are proud of you, it's like, holy shit, that's like the crown jewel of life for a parent.
That's cool. I didn't think about it from that perspective, but yeah, happy to honor them in that way. They do a lot. They've always been very present and invested in my life. And, I'm grateful for that. I feel like it's such a blessing to have been born and raised in the United States with the hardworking family that I was born into. Not everyone gets that opportunity like I did to grow up in that sort of way. So super blessed for that.
Yeah, that's cool that you already have that appreciation at 29. That seems really young to already have that appreciation. Yeah, I need to tell my parents how proud I am of them. Maybe I'll do that today. Do you know why your dad joined the military?
He joined out of high school, but I think that he was living in a small town, and I don't think that there was that much to do. And I think back then it was pretty normal to go into the military as well. So I haven't, I should ask him to give me a whole debrief of that now that I can understand it. When you're younger, you just don't even think of those questions to ask. Right.
But
now that I'm getting older, they also have these books where it's like, tell me your story, that you can get for your parents. So I'd really like to, dive deeper on that sort of thing to understand what his heart was like in that decision as well. But to my understanding, it was a good move for him financially to get out of this town that was really small, not much going on there. And I mean, it did really elevate them and take them all over the world. So him and my mom, took them to a lot of cool places. So.
And then so your parents put you in hockey. Were they hockey people? Like, being here in California, hockey's such an obscure sport. Like, I've never met, besides, in my older years through doing interviews and stuff, I never knew a single person who played hockey. And I'm assuming in your town, like, it was the sport. Yeah,
everyone plays up in the north. I would say that Michigan is almost a little depressing for most of the winter because it's just so long and gray and kind of wet. It's just not very desirable outside. So I feel like a lot of people up in the north end up just playing hockey because what else is there to do to enjoy during those winter months? And it's very normal. I was not alone in being a female playing hockey in Michigan. There was plenty of girl teams, AAA teams that I played on that were female only. And growing up, before I played girls hockey, I played with the boys for most of my life and then switched over to girls when I was around high school age, I think.
It's that long. It's that long, huh?
Yeah. So when the boys start getting really deep into puberty and start getting super big, that's when I started switching over. So whenever that is, I don't know, maybe middle school or like high school age.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it was around when I was a Bantam, which you said you don't know hockey, but people who know hockey, Bantam I forget how old we are at that age, but that's like the second year of checking. So when you start to check in Pee-wee age, the boys were like not so big that it was overpowering to me. But once they get so big and I was still small, then it's kind of like a danger, you know, because they're just
checking's like when you ram someone.
Yeah, like you drop the shoulder, you know, send them in.
And that's legal in hockey.
Yeah, male hockey, there's definitely checking allowed. Technically, in female hockey, it's no checking, but I don't want that to sound too soft. Like there's still plenty of body contact, but women's hockey, like you're not going to see an open ice check. If you do, it would be a penalty for sure. Whereas
and you can't open ice check someone in men's hockey?
In men's hockey, yeah, you can be a lot more.
Just check them wherever.
Yeah. So the women,
do they have to have the puck? What's the rule with checking? Like, do you have to have the?
Yeah, they have to be part of the immediate play, or else it would be interference.
And can you check someone in the back?
No, good question. Okay. So that would be a penalty.
Like in football, I think that's called clipping or something. You're not allowed to shove someone in the back or something.
Sure, there's definitely rules so that the body contact isn't dangerous to the athlete. Like if you checked them at a certain distance away from the boards in a dangerous way, you would get a penalty. For example, right? Like they want it to be clean body contact that keeps everyone playing still. Women's hockey, there's still tons of body contact, but there's just not like open ice decking people or anything like that. Or if you totally lay a chick out at the boards, you're probably going to get called for it. In women's hockey, was prided more on having a lot more finesse. So being playmakers and like really smooth with the puck and making plays more than just the brute force of like smashing each other.
Do girls hockey, do they fight? Do they punch each other? Like, you know, like I see in men's hockey, I don't know what the rules, but it seems like you're allowed to fight, or I think if you fall down, the fight stops, but if not, they just let you fight.
Yeah, so different rules depending on what division you're in and like what league you're in. But for female hockey, they do fight. Usually it's a penalty for sure for fighting. But in men's hockey too, it's still usually a penalty if you fight.
It is. No matter what, if you fight, there's a penalty going down?
Usually, depending on the severity of the fight. But for me in girls hockey, like when I got to AAA and then college, the coaches were pretty keen about having control. So instilling in us not to fight back unless it was really, really justified, so that we would have the advantage of them possibly drawing a penalty and us not having a penalty. So then they're at the disadvantage for fighting. They get put in the box and now we're on a power play, which was good. So I feel like early on with women's hockey, especially, the coaches taught us more reserve in like knowing when to fight and when to just let them go to the box.
Did you play any other sports?
Yeah, I played tons of other sports. I did track, soccer, volleyball. Wow. I think I did soccer the longest on top of hockey.
What's your fastest mile ever?
I don't actually know. Somewhere in the 6s, I'm sure. Not something I ever tracked. When I did track, I was pretty young. I thought it was boring after that, like more like middle school age. I settled more into basketball and soccer in high school. And then towards the end of my years in high school, I had to commit full steam to hockey because the schedule with AAA was so intense that I didn't have a whole lot of time for school sports. But I grew up going from whatever school sport I was in to hockey after that almost every day of the week. I don't know how my parents did it. That was a lot of traveling. But hockey was always my main thing. And then the school sports were for socialization and enjoyment. So I could, do something with my friends. If I only did a AAA hockey, I would be a little bit more disconnected from my school friends.
Yesterday I did a podcast with my buddy, Andrew, and I told him that I ran a 9-minute mile and a 7-minute mile on the air runner back to back. Like I just jogged. Do you know what obviously air runner? Yeah. So I was running I ran 9 minutes, and then as soon as I saw it hit 1 mile, I started going faster, and so I ran 2 miles in 16 minutes. And he's like, "Hey dude, I just Googled and that would put you in the 1% of 53-year-olds. There's no way you did that." So I was like, I don't know, but he said it so many times that I started like believing him, like that I looked at it wrong. And so then I called Dave and I told him the story, and he's like, "Hey dude, you looked at it wrong. There's no way." So I was like, all right, fuck you guys. So I take this big scoop of creatine, and I take Liz yesterday, and I take a big scoop of citrulline. Citrulline. Do you know what that is? It's like,
No.
I think it's like, I think it's a precursor for is it arginine? Basically, you take. I used to take arginine, which is like a vasodilator, but then someone told me if you take citrulline, your body will make it into either arginine or something else, some other amino acid that you might need. But it then decides based on what your body is. So I take 2 big scoops of that, and I do a shot of espresso, and I run at 8:30 and then a 6:51. And that, for me, that was probably a PR. That was probably a PR mile, like for my whole life. But
Yeah.
I'm fucked up today. Like I could barely get out of bed. I am fucked up.
And this was on the Air Runner?
Yeah, on the Air Runner. And I'm so stiff. Like I have pains in my body that I didn't even know, like I've never had.
Oh, I bet. I mean, that's 4 total miles in the day, right?
No. That other one I had done like 6 months ago.
Okay.
I was just bragging. Yeah.
Even still. And then I feel like the Air Runner is harder than running outside.
I don't know, but it fucked me up. And I was hurt. Like for 2 hours, I was still sweating. Like I was jacked up.
That's
and
awesome.
Then of course he's like, show me the video. I'm like, I don't have video. He's like, well, then you didn't do it. So now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna wait a month and try again.
Heck yeah, you should.
Mr. Vice President, for everyone interested, look up Day One Perspective on here or Instagram, and the Tactical Games Athlete Group on Facebook, the Tactical Games main website.
Word.
Hiller did that to you on purpose. I know, probably. He says a lot of stuff to me, like he just drops stuff to me to get under my skin, and he's 100%. It works every time. He'll be like, I bet you can't back squat this. I'll be like, oh, fuck.
You just need the challenge.
I guess, yeah. And every once in a while, he'll send me a workout. Like once a month, he'll send me a workout and be like, send me your time. I'm like, oh, great.
Now you got to try hard.
Right. Yeah, totally. So you're doing all those sports, and is there a point that you realize? Do you have any epiphanies about movement from growing up to where it's just like something you do to like, oh, this is my body? Like you start really getting into your body. You know what I mean by that? Like your awareness starts settling into your body. You start moving with intention. Do you have it? Like it's kind of like it's a kind of a crazy moment. Do you remember at what age that happened to you?
Honestly, I think it was after sports. I think that it was when I joined CrossFit. So I found CrossFit going into my senior year of playing hockey. And
of college or high school?
College, sorry.
College.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So
you're about 18 or 20? You're 20?
Yeah, 20, 19 or 20. I want to say maybe 20. And that I almost quit hockey for CrossFit. And I finished out my senior year because I felt like it was the right thing to do to finish well and finish what I started. But my heart was so on fire for CrossFit. I drank all the Kool-Aid. I wanted so bad to compete in CrossFit and just spend all my time training CrossFit after that. And
this is 2016?
It was around the same time as like Katrin was competing at the game, Sarah Sigmundsdottir, Matt Frazier. I think Rich was at teams at that point, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But yeah, CrossFit was like really good back then. Mm-hmm. That was those days, the glory days, right? And I had this awesome gym that I had found in Michigan right near campus, and one in Colorado too for when I was out there. And man, I felt like it engulfed my passion so much more than hockey. And I think also I had been playing hockey my entire life. So perhaps I had kind of rode that wave far enough that I was like ready for something different and a new challenge as well. And CrossFit provided this whole new challenge. I was a beginner again at something. There was so much to learn, and that just captivated me. I wanted to conquer that so bad and learn all of the things, all of the skills, and get stronger and look like these athletes that I saw at the CrossFit Games that were just absolutely jacked and like so capable. And I felt like that strength and power and capability and fitness was something that I desperately wanted that hockey really wasn't giving me, I guess. Like I had strong legs, but like, there's just so much more that you can get out of fitness than just that. So anyways, I started being more aware of my movement and was really fascinated with human movement in general and like trying to move perfectly. I guess I was a big perfectionist growing up as well. So that transferred into when I came into CrossFit, trying to learn how to do everything perfectly. So I could do it well and do it faster and beat everyone and all that good stuff. So I finished out my last year of hockey and then went right back to doing CrossFit and started trying to train competitively for CrossFit like a year later, as I was working multiple jobs at the time. So it was hard to train competitively for a while.
How did you actually find CrossFit? Did someone take you in there or?
I was traveling out to Colorado for a summer to intern with a physician out there, an orthopedic surgeon, and I needed some sort of fitness to do while I was away. So when I was at school, I would do hockey off ice training, and there's obviously the gym at the school to use. And when I was out in Colorado, I didn't really know what to do for fitness. So I looked up this CrossFit gym, which I had heard about, the CrossFit thing, but I never had done before. So I checked out this gym and it turned out to be just a gold mine of a community, a wealth of knowledge. It was such an awesome place to begin at. And I spent this summer with them learning all the basics of CrossFit. My first workout was Nancy, the running and overhead squats. And we did squat snatches that first day. So really big gym that had 2 coaches on for each class. So I got tons of help in that first class. I will never forget it, trying to learn those movements. And it was awesome. It just blew me out of the water and I was instantly hooked. So I spent the summer doing CrossFit out there and then went back to school for my senior year and was trying to do CrossFit on top of hockey, which was pretty exhausting, but I would still pop into CrossFit classes like 3 to 4 times a week on top of the hockey stuff because I just loved it.
What was the gym?
Backcountry CrossFit is what the gym was. It actually has changed a lot over the years, but they used to send teams to the CrossFit games. So it's very big on the teams scene. And then they were really, really good at gymnastics. I forget.
Oh, interesting.
They had one of the CrossFit gymnastics coaches there. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I can picture him. But anyways, they were just very, very good coaching. The main coaches had level 2s. And at the time they would do coaching development on a weekly basis. So over time, I actually ended up coaching there as well. And they were really good at discipling new coaches. And the standard of excellence they set was very, very good. So the high level coaching there is what caught me. And honestly, it was part of the experience in being so great early on.
What city was it in?
It was in Highlands Ranch, Colorado.
Highlands Ranch. Okay. I wonder if I know the owner.
The original owners did sell it over time to different owners. So,
and then from there, you're in there, and then at some point you're like, oh shit, there's an open. Oh, this can be competitive.
Yeah. Well, they were sending teams to the games,
and you saw that.
Yeah, and I was enamored by the capabilities of these athletes. I was just like, I need to be able to do that. That's so cool. So, but I was so behind. I was honestly quite small. I had struggled with an eating disorder when I was in college, so I got down to like 85 pounds at my lowest.
Holy shit, Jenay.
Yeah, like not okay, like literally skin and bones. So when I started CrossFit, I have pictures of it, but I was, all of that hard work of being an athlete my whole life, I literally tanked because I couldn't deal with my mind.
How tall are you?
5'4".
Wow.
Yeah.
You dropped below 90 pounds.
I did. At my lowest,
you must have scared the shit out of your parents.
I did. Yeah. It was so terrible. And luckily, but CrossFit was such a big part of me coming out of that. Because when I was at school, there was this gym. So I was going to see these like therapists that would tell me what to eat. And these therapists were fat. And it pissed me off because of this fat person who is obviously so unfit and unhealthy is sitting across from me, criticizing me for being unhealthy. And I had this obsession with eating healthy. That's what got me there. But my perception of healthy was wrong. So I wasn't necessarily trying to starve myself. I was trying to be healthy, and I didn't have the right definition of healthy. My version of healthy was like, I'm going to eat all the protein and vegetables that I can eat. Well, obviously I'm an athlete. I need carbs and fat to keep my hormones working. So anyways, these fat therapists are, telling me what to eat. And I'm like, I don't want to be like you. Why would I
You didn't respect them. You're like, hey, you're obviously, if this is what you did, I don't want to end up like that.
Yeah. And then they're telling me to eat burgers. I'm like, okay, the least applicable thing you could do right now is tell me to eat burgers. Can you meet me in the middle? Like, hey, add some rice into your diet. That would have been a good start. Anyways, I found this gym near my school, CrossFit Shift, and they had this group of brothers and a friend that they were super strong.
Wait a second, Jenay, when you went to that CrossFit gym in Colorado, how much did you weigh? Were you CrossFitting when you weighed that little?
So I had to get to a certain weight before I could do CrossFit for real out there.
Did they told you that?
The doctors that were kind of helping follow me, and then just in agreement with my family and close people, to my understanding, I had to be at least over 100 pounds to even work out again.
Let me ask you this. How do you get that disease? How do you get an eating disorder? Does someone have to say something to you?
I don't know. I think it's very different for everyone. For me, I was super overwhelmed with being a full-time athlete and chasing. So I was pre-med in college, and I was really, really, really chasing being an orthopedic surgeon. That's what I wanted to do. And, the advisors in that are always so hard on you about achieving really high standards of things. So it's not enough to just pass. You have to really excel in order to get chosen to go to medical school, is what they would tell you, right? So I'm working my butt off to make excellent grades, and I'm trying to be a full-time athlete playing hockey, and I go away to college and I'm out of my element, and I'm just not really happy in general. And I just took that out on what I could control, which was eating. And really it came down to a whole lot of stress, not a lot of sleep, and not knowing how to handle that. And looking back, I wish I would have had the self-awareness and the foresight to be like, I'm not happy. I have the power to change something in my life to make myself more happy. But I didn't know how to do that. And I felt like I just needed to be perfect in what I was trying to chase. So it pigeonholed me into, controlling my food. And I honestly wasn't hungry a whole lot because I was so stressed. And before I knew it, I was super small. And then I was like, holy cow, how did I get here? And then trying to get out of that was really, really difficult for me. So I personally got there because I didn't know how to control my own mindset. And I didn't feel like I had the ability to change what I was doing and prioritize my own happiness. I felt like I had set out on this goal. I just needed to achieve this goal, period. If that makes sense.
So it's really interesting you use the word control, because my whole life I wanted to be thinner. From trying to think what grade I was in, that it probably it hit me a 6th or 7th grade, having to go to a swim party, and I wanted to be thinner. And then when I was in my early 20s, someone gave me some MDMA. Do you know what that is? I think it, ecstasy or Molly. And I took the pill, and then I realized, oh shit, I have such crazy control over myself when I'm on this fucking drug. This is crazy. And so I immediately used that drug to impose control on myself to stop eating. And I did that for for 2 months. I took my run with MDMA was really short, but I took a shitload in 2 months.
Yeah.
And I used it and I dropped down to 135 pounds, and I was so excited, but it was all about control.
Yeah.
For whatever that means, it's kind of abstract. I kind of don't like the word, but I was really getting off on the fact that I had built discipline or control, but it was a trip. So when you said the word control, that resonated with me, because that's what it was for me. I was really excited by the fact that I had dominion over myself. It's how I learned how to do a pull-up. I was on MDMA in the backyard, and my buddy was like, hey, he was doing pull-ups on this tree branch, and he's like, let's do some pull-ups. I'm like, I don't know how. And I tried to do one. He goes, hey, it's not a pull-up, it's a back. And he grabbed my lats and he said, you just flex these two muscles back here and you'll go up. And I remember I was high on ecstasy and I flexed those muscles and I did a pull-up, and I was like, holy shit, why didn't anyone ever tell me that? You know what I mean? I just assumed it's a pull-up, so I should be pulling. But then I realized, hey, all you have to do is engage those muscles in your back, and your hands are stuck this way, right? If you engage your lats, your hand can't come up.
Right.
So
do you feel like it freed you mentally from some of those like things that maybe you couldn't control yourself as much because you had these things of like, but I'm this, but I'm that, but I'm that. And then like when you were doing the drugs, it just like all of those excuses kind of went away and you were like, I control it.
I don't remember that. I just remember just not being hungry and really tripping on that and enjoying that sensation and being like, hey, like I would just sit there literally on the couch and eat a tomato for like 60 minutes, like a giant tomato, and be like, what? Like I just slowed everything down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or be like, today I'm eating a banana. And like I would just eat one banana all day. And I was like, this is fucking amazing.
I feel like that's a rare experience with MDMA, like not what most people would use it for, but
yeah, I didn't like party with it and shit. Like I just used it to do shit. You know what I mean? Like if I was scared to talk to a girl, I would just fucking take a hit of ecstasy and then talk to a girl and be like, holy shit, this is crazy.
It's funny. I mean, when you talk about the control thing, looking back on that experience with the eating disorder in a similar way, like, yeah, I did prove to myself that I could have extreme discipline and control over myself, right? But like totally in the wrong way. So if I
explain to me, how is it in the wrong way? Explain that to me. What do you mean?
Because it dug my hole deeper. It wasn't benefiting me in any way to control what I was controlling. I needed to take all of that discipline and self-control and put it in a place that was going to benefit me so much more. What if I had that same level of discipline and self-control and was doing a full strength cycle and eating really well and adequate macros? I would end up in the end like with 10 more pounds of muscle versus 30 pounds less of body weight. Like,
right. Okay.
In the wrong way. And that was so dumb of me. That was so dumb. But yeah.
And I used it to talk to girls and lose weight. I knew that it was a special drug that you could really put in serious times of if you used it not for partying and you used it for work. I taught myself how to draw. I taught myself how to play Frisbee. I taught myself how to do pull-ups. Like I recognized that it had some properties like that. And I took advantage of it. Things that I carry over to this day: ping pong, focus. I would just practice focusing. I would take a hit and then just go down to the beach and just track a seagull, like one seagull, and force myself to watch it for 30 minutes. Like I knew that this thing could cultivate habits. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You
ever done ecstasy? You ever done ecstasy?
No, I have tried drugs like that once. I forget what it was, but the main takeaway that I had personally was that it made me feel more free and authentic. So when I was
free. Yes, super
I was
free.
at like a rave during it. This was like a long time ago, BC days for me, like before my faith, when I like did this. And I went to this rave with some friends and my boyfriend at the time. And I remember like being in this big crowd and feeling like I was so content with who I was, looking around.
Yes.
Everyone's on that same vibe where everyone was feeling totally okay with who they were and they were fine with me being who I was. And I woke up the next morning and I was like, I'm totally okay being who I am.
Yeah, that's a great takeaway. Yeah. And that's the way, I mean, kids don't do drugs, but if you do drugs, like there should be some benefit from it. It shouldn't be just like recreational drug. And all my friends were using it recreationally, but I knew the first time I took it, I was like, no, this thing is fucking something special. This thing like you can work on yourself. What a great takeaway.
Yeah, I really felt like I couldn't judge people who did it until I had tried it. And I'm not saying that applies to everyone because or every type of drug out there. Like I'm not trying to do that, but like just doing a drug in general. And I had this environment that I was definitely safe with people I trusted. And I was like, okay, I need to try it once in my life so that I have some perspective on what this means when people do this a lot. And also I wanted like an introspective experience too, of like being okay with who I was. And man, it delivered on that. I definitely, and that was all I needed. Like I just needed that one time of like feeling you're okay just as who you are, and go be authentic, and that's fine. And I hold that with me forever now. So
that's cool. That's really cool. I after about 2 months of doing it, a lot of it, I realized, hey, you can't do this. Like I'm gonna die. Like it was just too hard on my body. Like I wasn't sleeping. It was just too much. I just knew. Thank God. And I wasn't addicted. I started weighing. It was like smoking. I smoked when I started CrossFit.
Like cigarettes?
Cloves. Yeah, I smoked cloves. Like I was a pack a day clove smoker. But then I started CrossFit and I was like, oh, this is like one of these. I can't be good at both these.
Right.
And so I just gave up the smoking.
Right. Gives you a reason to, right?
Yeah.
Be CrossFit.
Okay, so you get into CrossFit and then somehow you end over at what year did you find your faith? I heard you say that.
Yeah, so that was like when I was at Mayhem, I would say. So I moved.
I heard God lives there.
Or
at least makes frequent stops.
I think God's presence has been felt strongly at Rich's barn in my life.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever told him that or said that, but like just out loud. But you've seen photos and videos of Rich's barn, right?
Yep. I love Rich Froning. Yeah.
And the peace that is felt there is something else. It is, it's almost tangible. Like, I don't know how you don't feel that when you're there. It's beautiful. And I feel like, he obviously is a man of God. He played worship music every day that we worked out there. And if it wasn't worship music, it was still clean music that maybe wasn't talking about God, but like would, still be acceptable for kids to be around and stuff like that. So yeah, training there made me feel the presence of God in a whole different way. But yeah, I came to Mayhem and I was trying to figure out my faith. I would say I was with my ex at the time. How old was I?
Yeah.
I think around like 25 when I was moving over to Mayhem, I want to say, plus or minus a year, maybe 24. So I had moved from Colorado with my ex at the time to Tennessee. This was around COVID. I guess that would answer because I'm 29 now. So
that's a good place to go during COVID, by the way. What a great place to go. Yep.
Yeah, it was great. We were living in this apartment in Colorado and it was so expensive because we were in South Denver. Jobs all went remote. And I was like, why are we living here and paying this? We looked at many different places in Tennessee, but ended up moving to Cookeville and it worked out for us. Why
Cookeville? Because Rich was there and Mayhem was there and you guys were both CrossFitters. You were like, hey, let's just go to Cookeville. Fuck it. Did he know? Did anyone know Rich or anyone at Mayhem? You or your ex?
No, we did not.
Okay.
And we just, we explored a couple of different areas, but the Cookeville area was so enticing to us. And we found a couple of houses that were really within our price range there. So.
But was it because of like if Rich Froning didn't exist, would you have moved to Cookeville? Would it even popped on your radar?
Probably not because the gym wouldn't exist. So obviously,
like I've thought of moving to Cookeville. Like I don't know how you could be a CrossFitter and you've never been like, hey, I'm going to truly a Cookeville.
Yeah, I can totally understand that.
You know what I mean?
Like, I felt
why not? Rich is there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. My husband had always wanted to. My ex at the time, my ex-fiance, always wanted to be in Tennessee, and on the many different places, he really liked Cookeville the most. I was like, I'll go anywhere with you. And as long as there's CrossFit.
Yeah.
And we loved the gym. The members there that just do the normal everyday classes at Mayhem were so inviting. And we loved the environment. Obviously the gym is a draw, but also like in terms of Mayhem as a member, you have to still keep in mind that there's a lot of seminars and stuff going on at the gym. So it's not like it's just free reign at Mayhem all the time. Like, you still have to very much respect boundaries as a member at Mayhem. So with that in mind, I mean, we already had a home gym. So we had a home gym as well that, like, this is what I'm saying, like, the house kind of worked out. Like, it offered a really good space for a home gym too. And then we had Mayhem as well. So yeah, we moved down there and just were like working out with the normal like environment, normal open gym in the afternoon, getting to know the members. And I was working my Colorado job in Tennessee because it was COVID, so I could do that remote. And yeah, so back to the faith question that you had originally asked. In that time that we were moving, my ex at the time was a pretty stoic guy, and he had a few things that he held really close to heart when it comes to beliefs, and not much else. Like, and faith was one of them. And I was curious about that because I was like, why do you care so much about this thing? So I started reading the Bible just to kind of try to understand, which obviously if you're new to faith and you just open the Bible and start reading it is incredibly difficult to understand. And, you know, there's all these stories that were confusing to me. One that comes to mind is like when I can't even speak like super intelligently about this, but the one guy that like brought his son up the mountain and he was going to sacrifice his son, like kill his son. And I'm sitting there reading this and I'm like, what the heck? Right. So I had a lot of questions, but I knew that this was important to my ex at the time. And Mayhem had started putting out these Into the Storm podcasts where Rich and a couple of people from Mayhem would talk about faith. And that helped.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of those. Yeah.
Yeah. So as I'm trying to like decipher through what this meant, I'm forcing myself to read it every day anyways. And there's parts of it that I'm like, oh yeah, that's really valuable. And then there's also parts where I'm like, I have a lot of questions. So, I'm listening to these Into the Storm podcasts and they're starting to help me decipher a little bit better, like what this faith thing means, and why people follow it, believe it, use it in their lives, abide by the rules of faith and stuff like that. So during that time we had moved to Mayhem and I was around a lot of people that were obviously faith-based, right? And the cool thing about my experience at Mayhem is no one ever pushed their faith on me. They just did their thing. And then I got curious about what I saw. And if I asked questions, they would explain it to me. They definitely invited me to church on Sundays. And for the longest time, I would just go and listen and, be skeptical. Just be like taking everything with a grain of salt, like literally just trying to figure it out. Because again, and the same thing of what I said before, along the same lines, like how do I make a judgment about something that I don't even know about? So I was trying to know about it, learn about it so I can make a judgment on it. And then I started working with Jim Hensel in Mayhem Mindset. Mayhem Mindset is a really cool process that helps you define your values and establish your identity and then understand how to apply that in real life. So with that, I was figuring out faith, and he had encouraged me with this specific verse in the Bible that says, test everything and hold on to what is good. And he encouraged me,
Who said that? Do you know who said that?
Like what verse it is?
Yeah. Like who wrote that? Like, is that words from someone's out? No. Okay. That's fine.
I don't know off the top of my head. I'm not that good.
Okay.
Test everything and hold on to what is good is the verse. And he encouraged me in that. And he's like, you need to figure this out for you and read the Bible and try to live it out in your life. And if it is good, hold on to it and run with it, keep going. And if it's not good and you don't like it and it's not benefiting your life, mainly if you're not seeing good fruits in your life from it, then okay, you can move on. But that verse, stuck with me. And there's another verse that is like, that encourage you to like seek God with all of your heart, mind, and soul, and you will find him. So with those two paired together, I was pursuing my faith and really trying to read the Bible each day and live out what I was reading. And on that line, I ended up feeling like it was the right thing for me. I saw good things in my life come from it. And I had experiences in church and in relationships with people around me that I was like, this is enough for me to know and trust that God is real in my life. I would like to say that it's like kind of like God things happening, just things that happen in crazy coincidence alignment that I can't just believe are coincidence, I guess. And then, so that's like from a spiritual standpoint. And then from a really practical standpoint, my life got better. I liked myself better. My character got better. And I think I was really searching for a moral compass. Like I was at this point in my life in your mid-20s where you're like, who am I? What do I believe? What is right and what is good? And, you know, when dealing with different scenarios that would come up in my life, I'm like, okay, but like, what is the right thing to do? What is the good thing to do? And it was really hard for me to distinguish that on my own. And I would banter in my mind back and forth a lot. But reading the Bible, it gave me a really good moral framework to understand better what was good, what was the right thing to do, and the right character to have, and how to treat others, and how to love people, and how to still hold high standards and deliver truth, but laced with love. And there's still a lot of gray area in faith, don't get me wrong. But for me, having that moral framework was a huge part of it. And then seeing goodness in my life and in me come out from reading the Bible and applying what I had learned to my life was game changing.
God, you just expressed it second best I've ever heard it expressed besides myself. I say that with peace and love and humility. Tell me about God things that you see happen. That's the kind of I always trip on people who believe in God. I'm like, oh, like why the fuck would you believe in God? You can just know God. You can just like expand your awareness and see God things happening all over the fucking place. Like drop whatever belief you have and just like see it. Is there anything in particular that you can think of that happened, a coincidence or a God thing that happened that you're like, oh shit, that's cool?
Yeah, I think a lot of those little God winks or God things are actually kind of small and seemingly insignificant if you were to relay them to another human being. You know what I mean?
Jeff says you're more eloquent than I am. Fine. All right, fine. Well, okay, so hers is the best. Mine's the second best. Go on.
And then, but in a way that wraps back to tactical games, because this was a huge factor in why I pursued it so hard. I felt like God was really helping me on my journey into tactical games as well. Like the incredible grace and generosity I received from people around me in order to get into tactical games and make this happen when I had literally zero means to do this on my own. And then the way that I felt like I was totally made for this when I showed up at my first nationals and felt like God had me right where I wanted to be, like, there's a lot to this story, but I felt like God was with me in that journey through the entire thing. So to back up, I was working out at Mayhem like crazy, like training like I was trying to be a games athlete.
Who wasn't? I did that.
Yeah. Metaphorically banging my head against a wall every day in fitness. For what? And I didn't know. And, you know, Tasia would encourage me. I remember this so keenly. We were standing at the ropes one day and I was struggling with like some nagging injuries and I'm working so hard. And I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, I know I should be doing this because I felt like deep in my chest, I was like, I should be doing this, but I don't know why. And Tasia encouraged me that like, when she came over and saw my frustration, she had said to me that like, encouraged me that God's timing was good and that he had a purpose for this season for me. And meaning that like all this hard work would be worth something someday, but I couldn't see it yet. And that made it really hard to endure those days where I'm like, I don't know why I'm doing this. And I wasn't doing anything wrong. I didn't have any responsibilities that I wasn't taking care of. Like, you got to keep in mind, like, I lived very simply. Like, I was coaching at this time. So I'd switched over from my Colorado job to coaching at Mayhem. So I'm making a small amount of money. I'm training a lot, but I don't have kids. I don't have any payments that I'm neglecting. Like, I was in a season of life that I could be an athlete and be selfish And I wasn't harming anything or harming my life by doing that. With that said, you know, I'm doing all this and I'm like, what is this for? And then I have some LEO friends. So Jim Hensel, who runs Mayhem Mindset, and then his good friend, Justin Betancourt.
What's Jim's day job? Is he a cop?
He is now. Yeah. So he
okay.
used to run Mayhem Mindset like more full time, but
Yeah.
Long story short, he wanted to live out the value of serve in his life. And he had always wanted to be a police officer. So he decided to go into law enforcement. So now Jim's full-time law enforcement. I think he still does Mayhem Mindset on the side. Incredibly valuable course, literally changed my life. But Jim and then Justin Betancourt and another friend, Kyle Wiley, who are all law enforcement at not at Mayhem, but in Cookeville, right? Go to Mayhem. They saw me training so hard and they were like, hey, have you ever shot guns? And especially Jim, he was like the main leader in all of this. Kyle and Justin helped me learn, but Jim like spearheaded getting me into this. Knowing my character, like I said, we were doing Mayhem Mindset together. So he knew, you know, enough about who I was as a person to say, hey, I think that you would really like tactical games, because they had done 1 or 2 already. So Jim's like, well, have you ever shot a gun? And I was like, yeah, growing up, I mean, I shot a pistol a couple of times for fun. Like my dad had a gun, and we would go up north and shoot it here and there. But like, I knew nothing about how to really shoot.
Year was this? What year was this, Jenay?
It must have been like 2023, because 2022.
I think I saw your first. You made a post about your first God, it's crazy how far you've come in the tactical games so quickly. You have this post that says, I think this is July of 2022.
Oh
yeah. Yeah. Competed in my first tactical games. That's when you made the post. I don't know when your first competition was.
Oh yeah. And I said Jim and Justin. Cool. So yeah, so this is my very first event in Ohio, and all that gear that I'm wearing is Jim and Justin's. So I really had no concept on this at the time, but they saw me. Thanks, Seth. They saw me working out in the gym, and they were like, hey, who you are, I think would work really well in the tactical games. I think you would love it. They outfitted me with all the equipment I needed to go out and try it the first time in Ohio. Because like I was saying earlier, like the sport is super expensive, or it can be. Sorry, I shouldn't be that off-putting. It can be really expensive.
I want to throw something out there real quick, going back to the anorexia thing and the control thing. The path with God's a trippy one, because there's this Taoist saying, only confused people make decisions. And so there's this thing with when you're on the path of God that you don't have to make decisions because you're on the path, and you know you're on the path and God's making the decisions for you. And yet you still have to have, so you have to give up all control there, right? But then...
Okay, keep going.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Jump in. Go ahead.
I would say that there's also free will. I mean, God gives us the decisions each day we have free will to decide what we want to decide. He might instruct us on how to make decisions, like I said, kind of that moral framework, but ultimately it's up to us to either live aligned with his word or not. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'll propose this idea to you, and this is through just my own experimentation. Like you were saying, test what's good. I think there's a little bit of a misnomer around the idea of free will, because you have the free will to not do anything, but all other things that you do that you think is your free will is really just you reacting to something worldly instead of listening to God. That's
a hard one to decipher. Like that's hard for me to wrap my head around. I think that
you can experiment it with by trying to do nothing.
Okay.
So by just lying down and try to do nothing for 60 seconds, and then try to do nothing for 2 minutes. And by nothing, I mean every experience you just witness, whether it's a sensation on your skin, an itch, you want to get hungry, you realize that your brain tells you, did you leave the stove on? So instead of just lying still and watching that, you react to it. You can start seeing thoughts rise, and you can see yourself reacting to them, and you think it's free will because you get up and turn the stove off, but really you reacted to a thought or a sensation. So that's why you scratched yourself or got up and went to the stove, as opposed to your real free will is your will is to get on the path, which is to do nothing and not use your free will. I just propose that to you as because you didn't make the decision to get into the tactical games. God made that decision for you, and you were open to it.
Yes. Okay. I get what you mean.
You see what I'm saying? It's a weird paradox. It's a trip, but I think a lot of people are confused about this idea of free will. And anyway,
yeah. So I think it plays both ways. So there's this story in the Bible about how
I like stories in the Bible. Let's do this.
How God gave these, I think it was 3 different people, 3 different amounts of talents. You can conceptually visualize it like money right now. So 3 different amounts of money based on their capabilities as human beings. And like he gives one guy a lot, one guy some, and one guy a little. And the guy that the 2 that got some and a lot went and invested it, for example, did stuff with it, and it multiplied it. And then they brought that back to God, and God was very pleased with that and ended up multiplying it more and more and more. Like a well done, good and faithful servant sort of thing, right? The guy that got a little went and buried it instead because he wanted to protect it and make sure he didn't lose it. So he went back to God after some amount of time and gives him the same amount and said, I buried it, but I brought it back to you. And God is disappointed in that. And then he doesn't get more. So with that said, I think that, yes, God might give us certain talents. So now wrapping back to the word talent versus money, like maybe God has imparted me with a certain number of talents, but it is my choice to go out and multiply those in my community, use them for some sort of good to benefit the community around me, right? I have the choice as well to go and bury those talents, meaning I don't do the things that I'm good at to help the community, and then they're wasted on me. And I don't think that that honors God because I'm not using his talents for greater good outside of me. Does that make sense? So that way, that's free will, is like, am I going to go do something with this despite my fear, despite my feelings of inadequacy, despite my feelings of it's not enough? I'm going to go and do it anyways because these are the talents that God has given me, and I'm going to do my best to go and honor what God has given me by doing this the best that I can with the best character I've got for the betterment of myself and for others.
I like it. I like it. I like it. So Jim Hensel says to you, hey, what, or in these other guys, Justin and Cody's not right. I just made that up. Okay, good. Well, I'm good. 2 out of 3. That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
that was awesome. Yeah. Kyle, Justin, and Jim. So they say, hey, tactical games are for you, girl. And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
You weren't like, fuck you. I'm not doing that. I'm a CrossFitter.
No, I was so pumped up. I was like, shooting guns? That's so cool. I had a lot of reverence for.
Are you fucking kidding me? Trying so hard to get to 50 minutes. Do you know what the fuck's going on? At 55 minutes, I was like, holy fuck, I haven't even got to my questions yet. Are you out of your fucking mind? I'm not trying to get to fucking 90 minutes. I'm like thinking to myself, what if I have to take a shit in a little bit here? What break am I gonna take? This is the easiest podcast ever. I'm not trying to get to 90 minutes, you jackass. Change your avatar to showing your boobs again. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. So
this is a little. I have my own little community here. I'm just like constantly.
Yeah, you gotta keep them in line.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
So I was pumped about it. I always had a lot of reverence for military LEO, but I never felt like it was in my design to do it. Like I didn't feel like I was made to be a police officer, but I was like, I think that's awesome that you're a police officer. And
I always thought you're an asshole. I hate cops, but go on. Now I love cops. Now every time I see them, I'm like waving. My kids must think I'm crazy.
Yeah. But anyways, and coupled in with that, I really thought it was cool and powerful to be able to know how to shoot. But I had no idea how to go about that. So it just felt like a really high barrier to entry. Had no idea where to start. So I'd never really pursued it. And knowing obviously it's quite expensive. So getting the opportunity to use this gear from my friends and get free training from them, which now looking back, I understand just how valuable that time and energy and equipment that they borrowed to me or lent to me was. I did not understand it back then. I tried so hard to have perspective on it, but I just didn't know what I didn't know. So, anyways, they graciously, with so much generosity, helped me get to Ohio. I go compete my first one. I get smashed. All the best girls in the sport they are there at that match. I didn't know that at the time, but it turned out all of the top girls were there, and I was blown away by how awesome they were, not only in character, but also in their capabilities. Like they're strong girls. I mean, many of the athletes in tactical games do CrossFit. At the time, Calorina Key,
Let's be honest, they all do CrossFit.
Yeah, a lot of them do CrossFit.
So like UFC fighters, they all do CrossFit. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, we see your training. We know, like, you weren't doing that 20 years ago.
So Cal did regionals for CrossFit for a long time, and I was competing against her. And then my friend Blair was my judge. And she is a specimen of a human. She is incredibly strong and powerful. Like all of those girls were just like, they looked like very strong, and then they could shoot lights out. I mean, to me back then, you know what I mean? Like perspective wise, I was like, holy cow, these ladies can shoot. They can handle their weapons like savages. I was just like enamored by how cool that was. So
you could see their art. You could see their art. They weren't.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Very good.
You could see their art, their training, their movement. They were the ballet of exercising gun toting.
Yeah. And I was like, dang, if these girls can do it, I can learn too. And felt very empowered by that.
You see someone even just like if someone like pulls out their gun and the way they put their gun away, like when you see someone who's done it 10,000 times, you're like, God, even that's pretty.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure. So like they moved really fluidly. Meanwhile, I'm sitting at the line every time going to shoot. I'm like, okay, I have this gun. I put the magazine in. Now I rack the slide. Now
yeah. Super slow analog processor in the beginning, right? You're like step one.
Myself through everything. So it was really challenging for me, but I was really inspired, and I also felt like it was true to my nature. Like I grew up with an older brother. We played a lot of male-dominated sports. I had this spirit of ferocity and a little bit of aggression in me, but I also really liked the finesse of the sport as well. And like, it felt badass. You know, you're out in the elements, you're rolling in the dirt, you're carrying heavy stuff, and you're shooting guns. Like, how cool is that? And outside of that, like the applicable skill of learning how to shoot and then having like the self-defense aspect to take away into your normal life as well felt very empowering to me as well. Like, I have a gun in my house and I know how to use it should I ever need to use it. Right. And especially as a female, that was another like pro bonus as well. So I felt super into the sport after Ohio, and I actually had earned an invite to nationals that year. But I borrowed.
If you got destroyed, how did you get an invite to nationals?
Great question. So at that point there was roll downs, and all the best girls were there and they had already qualified. So I was the next up after all of the great girls in the sport at the time.
Okay.
That got a spot.
So in all fairness, it wasn't a very deep field.
Correct. Okay. Well, I mean, that competition, it was a deep field. I think there was like 10 to 12 girls, but they were really good.
Okay.
So
how many people get to go to nationals? I mean, you still see that in the CrossFit games. I'm not shitting on it, but like you see people who are like, you're not even in the tier below Tia. You're like, or the tier below that. You're like, you're like, I saw someone at my gym do that.
Right. So I get what you mean. The regional events, I think it's the top 3 athletes qualify for nationals. And then I think there's a field of like 30 to 40 max. The women's field is still growing. So I would say more like 20 would be a win for the.
Uh-oh. Is that me? Who froze? Chat, who froze? Me or Jenay? Blame Jenay, please.
Am I back?
You're back. All right.
Okay. So all the best girls are there. So that top 10 is really dense, for example. If you're a female out there that wants to compete in the sport, join us. We want to make a deeper field.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd qualified because the roll downs and basically the structure of tactical games in a similar way to CrossFit is like you have these regional events and, you know, the top 3 spots qualified. The difference is there are more regional events across the year. And anyone can show up to a regional event. So, you know, get a podium at a regional event, you get an invite to nationals. So I didn't podium, but I got the roll down to go to nationals. And Jake at the time, my now husband, was
this is 2022.
Yeah. Yeah, 22. He saw that I wasn't going.
Do you suck at that point?
Yeah. Yeah, I sucked at that point.
Like you suck.
I think that
real quick, can you tell me a typical event? Like, how is it weighted fitness versus the shooting? Like, can you just give us a quick, like if you could do 100 burpees in 5 minutes and the other person can do it in 7, but they shoot better than you, who wins?
Good question.
Where's that balance?
Balance between fitness and shooting.
Yeah. Which is weighed more?
Okay. So here, let me give you the structure so that you can understand.
Okay.
There's majority of events in the weekend combine fitness and shooting. In those events with fitness and shooting, say it's a 4-time event. Whatever time you end at is a factor. So you finished the fitness and shooting, say there's 4 rounds of sandbag carry and then shoot both rifle and pistol. So you finish the workout, you have a 9-minute score. The misses downrange count for a 10-second penalty per miss. So every miss I have adds 10 seconds to my time.
Oh.
So you can have a winner of the stage fitness wise who maybe got 9 minutes and someone behind them got 11 minutes, but they shot completely clean, 100%. Whereas the person that finished in 9 minutes went really fast and they missed a lot. And now their raw time is greater than 11 minutes. So they actually lost. So it makes it hard to understand.
So 12 misses would be 2 minutes.
Yeah.
In this example you're giving.
In this example. Yeah. And there's some fluidity depending on the event so that it's not unweighted, unbalanced. So depending on how long the work takes, maybe the penalty is 5 seconds instead of 10 so that it makes sense. Does that make sense?
Can someone who's really fit show up with a really nice gun and start making leaps and bounds? And by nice gun, I mean nice like kit, like scope and gun and bracer and...
Good question. I would say no, because you still have to have the fundamentals to know how to use it.
Okay.
So not typically. So that's majority of the events are that fitness and shooting combined. Then you have 1 or 2 shooting only events and 1 or 2 fitness only events. So if you're just a shooter and we have a 2-gun event, which is action shooting fast, you're going to shoot your rifle really fast and then shoot your pistol really fast. And it's going to be dynamic and it's going to be really cool, like John Wick style. Super fun. If you're really, really skilled at that, you're going to gap the field a lot. So you're going to gain a lot of points. But if you can't do any fitness, then you're going to lose a lot of points on the fitness stage. So in the end, it should shake out in a similar way to CrossFit, where the jack of all trades, the best of the one that can do all of it pretty well and is not an expert in just one and lacking in another, is going to come out on top.
Oh God, you must get the poor event organizers, there must be so much bitching. Wow.
Like
That's
about
oh my God, there must be so much bitching. That one's too much fitness. That one wasn't bad. Everyone's got a fucking holy shit. It must be like it must be like the legends, the masters. Those motherfuckers can't shut the fuck up. Like the teens never complain.
Sure.
And the individuals complain about just dumb shit. But the masters, they don't give a fuck. They're complaining about... You put double unders in there and half the field's like, thank you. And the other half's like, you're an asshole. I mean, they're crazy. They're crazy. It must be. And with this, there's like some really, I don't want to say it's subjective, but it's like so nuanced. I don't know what the word is, but there must be some world-class bitching. The message boards must be crazy. The Reddit threads on tactical games must be nuts.
Okay, so yeah, things to consider. Programming just a fitness event is hard. Imagine programming a shooting and fitness event.
Yeah, so
Um,
hard. Yeah,
like
you can't. I would just be like, I wouldn't take any feedback from athletes. Be
really
quiet.
difficult, and
Quiet.
especially, I mean, our sport is growing so much, but if we're being honest, it's still in the earlier days, kind of like the
Right.
OG CrossFit days, right?
Right.
And there's still so much we're learning along the way, and programming has drastically, evolved over time. But it was all a trial and error over time, for sure, that they figured out, like, how do you balance these two things out, to get, in the end, the fittest shooter, not the fittest person, not the best shooter, the fittest shooter, I guess, is the best way to kind of like combine the two.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it was a fitness only event, it would be CrossFit or
Right.
thing, right? It's not.
And if it was a shooting only event, it would be a shooting competition.
Right. But
Yeah.
it's both. So you have to, in order to be true to the competition's goals, you have to find a way to balance them. And they do a great job with that. Obviously it's not perfect. Like I said, you're still evolving.
It can't be perfect.
Yeah.
It can't be perfect. That's
right.
Wow,
So that's
crazy. Okay.
really cool. And again, like that's how I said it's a bridge between the two worlds. There's something for each party to meet in the middle with. There's something familiar and something that's a challenge for both sides.
Going back to the faith thing. Was there a moment at Mayhem? Was there an actual moment for you? Like, was there like a demarcation when you're like, oh shit, I really am, like, I'm a believer?
Yeah. I would say for me, no. I think that it was just something that worked on my heart over time, and it was more of a slow step in versus a profound moment. Although I think everyone wishes they had a profound moment that the Lord just beamed down from heaven, was like, I'm real. Yeah. Join me.
Yeah.
I see you. I love you. I'm here for you. Like,
he takes a bite out of an apple and hands it to you. You're like, holy shit. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I think it was more of like a slow thing that, I mean, I did get baptized with a good friend of mine who is very good, two good friends of mine that were really integral in like discipling me on my little faith journey and just being friends to me through all of that. So that is a moment that is impactful, but not like, it wasn't, I made the decision, got baptized the same day or anything like that. I will say I went on a missions trip with Mayhem. I low-key was like forced to go on it.
That's like when they go to Peru. That's like a Luke Parker thing. You go with Luke Parker to Peru or some shit.
Luke Parker wasn't on this one, but yeah, you're thinking along the right lines. So they partner with Get Strong Ministries, which is a CrossFit gym in Nicaragua that is also a missions field. So they do mission work through the CrossFit gym. So when you travel down there, no lie, you have this beautiful, huge house that they cook for you, healthy food. Like you potentially will eat healthier than you do at home. And you get to CrossFit as much as you want. And during that time, you also go help people in the community and you do like discipleship work, which I was very new to faith. I literally went down there so green. Like I hardly even knew for sure if I was a Christian. And I go down on this missions trip and my friends were like, you need to do this. This is going to be really good for you. And so Mayhem Missions helped me go down there. I still paid in a little bit, but they helped me cover a lot of the costs. And I remember telling Jake Locker before we went, I was like, hey man, if I'm going to have to baptize people in the river, I think I'm out, because which is obviously, like, looking back now, like you want to grow the kingdom of God. So they're thinking the more people we can baptize in the river, the better. I'm thinking I would feel like a fraud if I went down there and was like, hey, come be baptized in the river. Like, I don't even know if that's what I want, you know?
Right.
So
I respect that. Good on you. Good on you.
So I went down there, and Jake knew this about where I was at in my faith. And, you know, my friends knew where I was at with this, but they were like, you just need to go down there and see what's up. Go watch what happens and just be a part of it. Like, you don't have to baptize anyone. And looking back, I almost wish I would have gotten baptized then in Nicaragua, because the experience was so pivotal in my faith. I asked all the hard questions. Like I had one of my friends, Jared Graybeal, was down there, and I remember watching him baptize people in the river. And then we got in the car after, and I was like, so what number is that for you? Like, is your count up now? Were you like just doing that to get your counts up? Like just
like
challenging
fucking with them, just trolling them. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Good.
A little bit, but like with honest questioning as well,
Yeah.
of like,
Yeah.
hey, is this all that it's about? Is like wearing your count as a pride, or like a prideful thing, or, you know, I just didn't understand. So I loved that the group that was down there, Aval, you're with a bunch of
What'd he say? What'd he say? 252.
No.
I accidentally drowned one, so 251.
No, he didn't know his count or anything like that. He said, I don't remember his exact words, but I remember him saying that he didn't know his exact count, and it wasn't a prideful thing at all in the end of it. But anyways, this group of people that you go with, they're a bunch of CrossFitters. They're very easy to relate to. One of the guys, when he asked me, I remember the first day I was down there, I cried that first night because I was like, what am I doing? Like, I felt so out of place. I was like, these people are amazing that I'm here with. Like, they are strong in their faith. They're leaders in their communities. They can speak so intelligently about the Bible and about what they believe and who they are and what they do. And I'm sitting there like, I'm a 25-year-old that works out a lot, and I'm figuring out what I believe. Like, you know what I mean? It just felt kind of like an imposter. Anyways, one of the guys asked me the next morning, he goes, so what denomination are you? And I was like, the kind that reads the Bible.
I got $50 in my pocket. I got that denomination, motherfucker. I got a Benjamin Franklin.
I was like, I don't even know how to answer that question. I go, what? I don't even know what the denominations are. I go, the kind that reads the Bible. And he goes, that's perfect, Jenay. That's all you need to be. And that gave me a lot of freedom in that. And he had told me privately, he's like, I heard you crying last night, and I want you to know that, like, you're right. You're right. And he's like, you're right where you need to be. It is okay that you don't know your denomination. You have faith in its purest form, and that's all that matters. And it turned out that I was the only one that knew how to speak Spanish fluently on the trip, besides the leaders of the group. So although I lacked all this Bible knowledge.
Did you not know that until you got down there?
Correct. So although I lacked Bible knowledge, I got to connect with the people down there so intimately. Like, it's just different to talk one-to-one versus having a translator through your conversations. And I couldn't share anything about the Bible with them, but I could be friends with them, and I could have great conversation with them. And that was like, God had used my talents in a cool way down there. That I was like, okay, I do have purpose. No, it's not what I thought you needed down here, but what I have is still beneficial. Like, I could talk Spanish with them and like make friends. But watching all that go down really grew my faith. And like I said, I wish I would have gotten baptized down there just because of the significance of how pivotal that trip was for me. But I did it shortly after I got back with some of my closest friends from Mayhem that helped, like I said, just embody the faith in my life and made me think like, oh, I think I want this too.
I'm trying to get Rich on the show, and I was texting with him yesterday, and he said, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but he said, hey, how is everything? And I said, life's great. My kids are healthy. My wife isn't fat. My dick gets hard, and I'm texting with Rich Froning. And he goes, hey, that's a great perspective.
It's a great perspective.
Yeah. I wanted to tell you that earlier. Like, because I just thought, what do you mean? I'm texting with you. What do you mean? What could be?
That's too funny.
Yeah. What could be?
Having gratitude for what's in your life, for sure.
Hey, when I think that people who, I think on some level, people who tell stories like the way you tell stories, there's a guy who is going to sacrifice his kid, and you tell it like that. I feel like that's fishing with, like, I'm not a fisherman, but that's like fishing with 1,000-pound test line. Do you know anything about fishing? I know a little bit. There's different weighted lines. Like a 1,000-pound line would mean like, hey, you can catch 1,000-pound fish with it. And people who are like, Matthew 3:17, God said this, and they don't realize the presupposition that they're working on, that they already have faith. So when they're quoting the Bible, they don't realize that they're not sharing anything with you in the sense that's palatable, because it's built on the presupposition that they already have faith. And so it's like fishing with just like fucking 2-pound test. Like, you could only catch sardines with it. And so there's a huge value to you knowing the information, but not being able to like attribute it directly to the Bible per se that I think really resonates with people who have resistance to the word Bible.
Got it.
You know what I mean? Like, I think it's like really I think it's crazy valuable. I think you can catch some really big fish like that.
Got it.
Like, you know what I mean? Plant some seeds that like have like that are deep in the soil and people then later on will be like, oh, that was a cool story.
Sure.
As opposed, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think too, if you don't ask those hard, deep questions, then whatever faith you do establish is going to be pretty shallow. Right. So
say that again. What would be shallow?
So if you don't ask hard, deep questions that you have, your faith is going to be pretty shallow, or you're not thinking deeply about it.
Right.
But if you are actually really considering deeply, like, hey, this seems like messed up, and you're asking those deep questions, you're going to have way stronger reason for why you believe what you believe, right? Because you've gone through those hard conversations and wrestled mentally with these stories to try to understand why it says what it says.
Understanding's a trip. Yesterday I called my mom to ask her some advice on something that I want to share here, but I'm not even comfortable sharing here. And I'm so comfortable sharing everything here, but I wanted to hear my mom's perspective on it because she has a totally different perspective on life than I do. Mm-hmm. And I asked her this question and she said, well, don't you think that would be a good experience for your kid? And I'm like, hey mom, that's not an answer. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, if someone offered my kids cigarettes, I can't use that answer. Well, that would be a good perspective. Or if Uncle Buck wanted to diddle my kids, I can't be like, well, that would be a good experience for them. Like, that's not an answer. That's not that's not a deep answer. If you're giving answers that just like carte blanche could work for everything. Right.
Yeah. Right.
Like, because I could say that about because if you can say it about anything, then it's not. And so my point is you have to listen, and then you have to be comfortable asking those deeper follow-up questions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I wasn't afraid to ask him. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I could tell. You know, you are as they used to say in the old days with CrossFit, you're unafraid. Mm. Yeah, something has to stick.
Right.
It's not about just like getting through. It's not managing thoughts. It's like, hey, I actually need some answers.
And I think that's the power of coming into faith a little bit later in your life. Not saying that this kind of deep thought can't happen if you grew up in faith as well. You could probably have like a renewal of what you believe. But as you get to a certain age, I feel like you just really start to restructure your brain. Hey, what do I care about? What are my morals? Like, what values do I believe in? So when you're asking those questions, if you are new to faith, I mean, there should be no hesitation in really unpacking that. And for me, that was powerful because I didn't have to believe anything. I was going to choose to believe something. It wasn't nobody had imposed anything on me or told me I had to live a certain way or do a certain thing. It was totally by choice. So with that in mind, it's like, I'm going to ask everything to make sure that this is what I want when I choose it. It's not forced. It's 100% just me trying to figure it out.
I think when people tell you, and I'm not saying it's wrong, but there has to be an evolution, I think, to get peace. When people tell you what God is, you turn God into a thing. Do you know what I mean? Like a car or a person or a blade of grass. Like you start to, just because of the nature of how our mind works. And that when you start experiencing God happenings, or I forget what the phrase you used, it was fucking awesome. Was it God happenings? Was it God?
A God thing or a God wink. I've heard it said.
God wink. When you start seeing,
go ahead.
When you have the awareness to see the conspiracy of God in your life, that he's conspiring to make your life good, to show you the path at all times. When you start to see that, then God's not so much of a thing. And that's why it's so hard to share it, because it's not a thing. And we talk about things. That's when you're like, when your faith starts getting really strong, when you free God from the world, world, you know what I mean? When you free, you free him from your mind, you free it from your mind.
And that's such a tough thing to do, because what frame of reference do we have that is God-sized? I mean, we just
Nothing.
don't.
Right.
Like,
We don't. Right.
yeah.
And I guess that's where faith comes in.
Yes. And at the end of the day, you know, Jim Hensel told me once when I asked him straight up, I was like, hey, what if you're wrong? What if you die and you're wrong? And he said, well, at the end of the day, I will have lived a better life because I believed this, more hopeful, more joyful. I'm a better person at the end. I've come out with better character. So if I die and I'm wrong, I'm okay with that because my life has been better for it. And he said also, I don't think I'm wrong, but but if I was, I take solace in this.
I don't like I think it says this somewhere in the Bible, and I don't like this along that vein. Basically, you should just believe in God just in case it's right. And it's like, hey man, that's like giving up. Like, hey man, don't be lazy. Just fucking pursue it. Like if you're not sure, keep fucking pursuing, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's nothing more noble in life than pursuing God. It's like such a noble effort.
So I feel like the notion of I'm only believing in God for the sake of death, that I want to be in heaven in the afterlife, is so shallow and not what God asks us to do. So
it's fear-based, right? I mean, I'm not shitting on anyone, but it's like, hey, you can get past that.
Yeah, I would say like, hey, you're missing out on so much of the good stuff. Like you're taking this very top level sliver and you're missing out on this huge depth where all the good stuff is, because this notion of like, all right, well, I believe it for when I die, that there's going to be a heaven. Okay. A of all, what changes about your day-to-day life with that? If nothing, then you're not living out faith like the Bible asks us to. 2, the Lord asks us to have a close relationship with him, a relationship, not just a, hey, I know that you're there. I think in the Bible, it even says, even the demons can acknowledge that I'm real. So even the demons can acknowledge that I'm real. But godly people, believers, they try their best, although they probably fail often, to seek God every day, to invite God into their everyday lives, to, be living out the Bible to the best they can every day, because that's where you get all the good and the good and joy and like fruitfulness each day, outside of just acknowledging an existence. It's like you're not actually reaping the benefits on a daily basis of what that actually means for your life if you just say, hey, it's real, period. Does that make sense? You're missing out on good stuff.
Yes. Along that vein also, early on in my journey, I realized that if you see the Bible as a cookbook and you go into a cookbook and you follow the instructions and you don't even know what you're making and you follow it and 3 hours later, you're going to have food and it's going to smell good and you're going to feed people and people are going to be happy and you're going to get like, it's going to be all net positive experience. And so you don't even have to, that cookbook is there waiting for you. And so you don't even have to believe in God. Just follow those rules and find out for yourself. Just run it's like fasting or training. Yeah. Hey, you don't have to believe in CrossFit. Just go 3 on 1 off and see what happens. You don't have to believe that it's the greatest GPP program in the world. You don't even have to believe in God. There's this book, follow it and tell me what happens in your life. Do people start liking you more? Do you make more money at your job? Do you feel healthier? Do you rest better at night? And then it's there. And you want your neighbor, and those are the neighbors you want too.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that freedom that you're talking about, to stop putting so much weight on just the self-discovery part of testing it out, is really beneficial in, like you said, testing it out. Just see if your life gets better each day. That's all I did. I didn't go in with a whole lot of pressure of like, all right, if I try to live some of this out, it means that I have to do all of this other thing, all these other things. I have to abide by all these other rules. Man, just like meet yourself where you are. Pick one thing, read one thing and live that out and see if you like it. Okay. If you do, go another.
Yeah. And honor your parents. See how that changes everything.
Yeah.
It will have a huge impact on your life.
Mm-hmm.
Just one thing. Yeah. Just honor your parents.
Yeah. And I think that, the crazy thing is when I first started off on this faith journey, I knew of the rules that came with it. We'll just give a rule and say, you shouldn't have sex before you're married. I knew that that was a rule that people believed in, right?
Is that really in a rule? Is that in the Bible?
Yeah, it's in the Bible.
It is?
It is.
Don't fornicate before you're married?
I'm not a Bible scholar, so I can't remember exactly what verse it's in, but it's basically like protect the holy covenant of marriage. So saving, sex for marriage. Just saying as an example here, purely an example.
I fucked that one up. That was like a mission of mine.
Well, I mean, I
Fuck
think
that one up.
many mess it up. It's totally okay. But it's this law, anyways, law or rule, right, that you're supposed to abide by if you're a strong believing Christian. At first, when I was going into the faith stuff, I was like, well, I don't know if I want to abide by that, or like, I don't know if that's what I believe too, right? So instead of putting all of that stuff on me on day one, where I was like, okay, if I choose to live out this one verse, it means I have to do all these other things. That was way too much for me. Instead, I just picked it, like I said, go slow, pick a thing, live it out. And it's funny how over time, like God changes your heart, in my opinion. And now, like the stronger that I've grown in my faith, like the more easy it is to want to live those rules out. So like in the instance of like sex before marriage, I started viewing myself as more valuable, and I viewed the covenant of marriage as more valuable and pure and holy, and sharing those like deep connections as being more special and needing protection in a way that I didn't really view it before I had faith. And it wasn't something that a rule did to me. It's like God has changed my heart over time, where now I don't think anyone would say that keeping that rule would be easy, but it's like your heart posture is different over time the deeper you get into your faith. So those like rules that I once thought of as really harsh and maybe too difficult to attain become more reasonable.
Or even irrelevant.
Irrelevant, yes.
Right. They didn't logically make sense.
Right. They become a lot more reasonable in my mind, where I'm like, I see why he says that, and I appreciate that he teaches us to love and respect each other at the level that he does, so that that covenant in marriage can be protected as so pure and full of joy and special because it's just with that person.
My biggest takeaway with your interview with Lauren Khalil was the foundation that you built your relationship on with what's your husband's name again? Jake. I watched that last night, and I'm sitting there, and at the very end, I'm like, holy shit, she built that relationship on a fucking mountain, on a rock. And I was like, this is fucking crazy. I could just tell by the way you talked about it. You alluded to the fact of the no sex before marriage. You talked about just the respect you gave the relationship, and for what you built it to endure anything. And I could tell that. And I was thinking, holy shit, what a great wife and mom you're going to make.
Thank you.
Yeah. Like you really, and he'll have so much faith in you for doing that. Like those are the kinds of things a man, like subconsciously and consciously deeply respects. Like what you're doing is you're also making him live up to being a king. You're making him live up to that like he sees the foundation you built, and he's not going to build something shitty on it.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's going to be like, oh shit, this is sacred ground. I better not fuck this up.
Right. Yeah. I think that's something that I learned through faith, because prior, I mean, I would probably have like looser values about who I am as a person, or accept less. I don't know how to word that better. And think that was good because it was going to keep that person around. But instead, faith.
Yeah. That's the worldly thing. Okay, I'm gonna hold out,
Yeah.
not put out to keep them around. But it is much deeper than that.
Yeah. And then I also think like, so worldly inputs, worldly results versus like a godly input and a godly result is kind of like how I view it now, is like, if I wanted to have a godly relationship in the end in all of its splendor, then why, like, I have to hold a boundary or a standard. And my husband did this too. Like, it wasn't just me in the relationship that was on board for that. But like, setting I wish I would have known sooner that setting a standard on my own value was actually going to yield a far greater relationship in the end that would be harder to get up front and harder to protect up front, but would be much deeper and more enjoyable in the long run versus having lower standards, I guess, or like being more open and just going with what other people wanted was going to yield like a more shallow relationship. And like, I'm setting a precedent for how I want to be treated in life, you know? A
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
So,
I totally know. My wife set that standard for me.
yeah. And it goes both ways. Like I said, my husband, he wanted this for us too. And it's what worked for us. Literally zero judgment if people don't do it. I know plenty of people that have successful relationships doing it other ways. This is just the method I wanted to try because I had been through several unsuccessful relationships and felt very crushed emotionally by that. And like, I didn't even know if I wanted to try to like let another person into my heart again, because I had messed it up and I had given a lot of my heart to someone and someone's even that like I could never get back. And it crushed me because it didn't work out in the end. So
yeah, it's crazy when you said you had a fiance before. That's wild to me.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, all due respect to him, like it just didn't work out for us, and I'm thankful that we pivoted, went our own ways, and that I am taking away so much lessons learned from that. I never want it to be wasted, or like there's a lot of good things about it and things that I learned about myself in ways that he refined me into a better person than I am today to help prepare me for where I'm at now. There was just shortcomings that, I did wrong, and I figured might as well try it a different way this time. So,
heartbreak, Rambler says heartbreak is horrible. The thing is, to avoid emotional pain is a total missed opportunity. I don't know how to explain it exactly, but all the emotional pain that I've had in my life through shallow experiences, it was mostly through things like, by shallow, I mean just with girls and relationships and stuff like that. But it made me, it kind of like dug a crater in me that gave me a really deep well for emotional experience.
Yeah.
That like now I can navigate the really deep waters of emotional experience and not be afraid of it. And so I've always been one to like, hey, it's okay to go all in and get hurt. And although it's painful, when you come out the other side, you've dug deeper into your well. Yes. And as long as you can recover from it, you come out a way better person. The shitty part is though, is like what you're saying. If you're like, fuck, I'm never going in the well again. Like that's the part you don't want to do. Hey, I'm going to block everything out so I don't ever have to feel that again. Right. The truth is it kind of gives you a bigger expanse. When emotionally hard things happen, you're like, I've been down here. It's cool.
Yeah. But it makes it harder to go down there.
Yeah, it can. Yeah. It's probably a little different for men and women.
Yeah. I would say that women are much more emotional beings and have a harder time at moving forward. Like meaning leaving something in the past and, moving on, kind of like putting that totally behind. I think that's a little tougher for most women.
Mr. Vance, they have great memories. My wife has a great memory. It's fucked. Insane memory. Insane. Mr. Vance, Mr. Vice President, everything in life happens for a reason. It's
true. That's what I mean. I don't have regrets from the past relationships I've had. I learned a lot. It sprung me forward.
The Bible does not have a single verse that explicitly uses the phrase "don't fornicate" before you're married, but it strongly condemns sexual immorality, including premarital sex, through various verses and principles. Corinthians 7:2, for example, suggests marriage as a solution to avoid fornication, while Hebrew 13:4 speaks of God judging the sexually immoral. God, I can't imagine getting married just to have sex. I feel like I've had friends who've done that.
Yeah, it's kind of a criticism of the Christian faith. I mean, I knew about that coming in, that I was like, oh, Christians just get married early so that they can have sex. So I definitely had that criticism, but I think in the same way that you said, you're demonstrating like a solid foundation to your significant other. It's like, it's more like having the self-control in the discipline is showing something about your character to the person you're pursuing. And
yeah,
that's
hey,
it.
and that's a good that should be if you're a healthy human being, that should be a attractive trait, a sexy trait.
Mhm.
Someone who has discipline and good habits.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that if you are marrying just to have sex, then you're probably young.
Yeah. Okay. How do you go? How are you on time? Do you have to pee or anything?
I have to pee. Can I go pee?
Oh, yeah, please. Yeah, go pee.
Okay. I'm going to split this up.
Here, I'll take you off like that. There you go. Pee break. All right. Good. Look at that. Fucking outlasted one of the guests. I like it. I like it when the guests have I like it when the guests have to take a pee break. It makes me feel superior to my guest. Gives me a psychological advantage. I'm 2+ hours. Joseph Ramirez, 19 out of 10. Wow. I love your scale. Sevon, go P2. I'm good. I was something that did happen to me. I was wondering if anyone at the 50-minute mark, I'll tell you a little secret. I started freaking out. I just freak out sometimes. I don't know what happens to me. I start to get I don't know, but for a second I thought I was gonna have to get off the air. I had a little panic attack at 50. I started freaking out. I didn't know if but it's this shitting thing. I didn't know if I was gonna have to take a shit or what, but I started freaking out. Like I started feeling like I was having an out of body experience for a second. It was weird. I was like, shit, do I have a commercial long enough to get up and walk outside and stand in the grass for a second? But
Okay.
it went away.
I'm back.
Yeah. Usually it's me who has to go pee. That's crazy.
Thank you. I had some coffee before that. So
yeah, good. I was just telling you, it makes me feel superior to you.
You win today.
Yeah, I never win. I'm 1 in 3,000. So how do you, when you show up at 2023 at the Nationals, does everyone assume that you're ass? Like, is it a huge shock that you win?
No, it's not it's
not because
a
you're ass in 2022, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's a strong statement. I had the fitness.
Too strong, semi-ass.
I was not very good at shooting, so but I was obviously fit. I came from doing a lot of CrossFit, so I was plenty fit there.
With games aspirations.
Yeah, I would say
at Mayhem.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I was not in indie.
Let me ask you one more question before that. Sorry. I want to get this. I don't want to forget this. So, how did you get invited to the barn? So you moved to Cookeville, you start going to Mayhem. What was the first time you got invited to the barn, and how did that happen?
Yeah, good question. I was working out a lot at the gym, and that was the year that Rich had Andrea and Taylor on the team, and they didn't have many other females that were like not already indie to act as an alternative.
Oh shit.
So
wow.
So I was not strong enough to be an individual games athlete. Like, I'm just small in stature. Always had a problem with that, but I was very fit and could hang on like the lighter workouts for sure, and the skill workouts even. I was pretty darn skilled. So anyways, he kind of like low-key asked me to be the alternate for the team, but I say that
Who did?
Rich.
No shit.
But I say that
Did you know him? Did you know him?
No, I mean, just in passing, like, obviously.
Tell me that story. So you're on the GHDs adjusting the seat, and he goes, Jenay. Yes, Mr. Froney? Into the barn at 3. I want to see if you could be an alternate.
I actually think like Jake Lockhart or something came to me and said, hey, Rich wants to know. I think that Rich was off doing something different. And then I met him at the barn. Like, I mean, we had met each other in passing, but we hadn't like gotten to know each other at all. And I mean, Rich and I are just in different stages of life, right? Like he's a male in his 30s and I was a young girl. Like even when you're at the barn, like there's different, like I just hung out with the girls when I was there. It's not like Rich and I were BFFs or anything like that.
Right.
But
like me and him are pretty tight.
Yeah.
Even though his wife hates me, but go on.
I'm pretty sure it was like Jake Lockhart or something that came up to me when I was finishing up working out and had asked me, hey, like Rich would like you to come work out at the barn if you would like. And Rich had texted me and said, hey, like we need an alternative.
He had your number. When it came into your phone, did it say Rich Froning or it was just a number?
It was just a number at that time.
And you're quickly like, create new contact.
Yeah. I've never abused that. Don't get me wrong.
Okay,
but,
all right.
Yeah. And
he doesn't respond 80% of the time. Abuse it all you want.
I respect that. So anyways, he, you know, I take that, I was going to say, like, take that with a grain of salt with Taylor and Andrea are some of the most fierce women you'll meet in CrossFit.
Yeah, when you said their names, I was like, God, I feel sorry for you.
Yeah, they are fierce. So I knew as the alternate that like there was absolutely 0% chance I was ever stepping on the floor in this position. It was merely to possibly put an open score up. And also because the open's really light and fast. And, you know, that was more of my expertise. And also just as a backup to put one on there. God forbid they would need it. But I was like, those girls could break their leg and still go out there and compete. Like I'm never going through with this for real. But it's an honor. I'm super honored by that. And I'm going to go work out and have a great time. And so I was, you know, doing Mayhem mindset through all of this. So luckily I was, because obviously it's a bit of a mind trip when you're like, you get invited out to the barn to work out with the best in the world. And you're like, am I okay? Like, am I good enough to stand amongst this crowd? This is wild. Just had a ton of gratitude and appreciation for those days when I was out there and tried to just do the best I could and survive, honestly. But it was an absolute pleasure and a blessing to be able to witness some of the best in the world do what they do and to train alongside them in that. And was especially with Rich and many of the other athletes that are indie and, you know, high achieving, like you learn so much just from watching them. And I was definitely able to carry on a lot of those things that I learned into trying to win the tactical games after that. So that's where I feel like it's like an absolute blessing to get to go and do that and refine my character in that kind of fire. Cause it is hard to do that. Like it sounds really, really enticing and like just all sorts of glorious good things. Right. But like, it's hard.
I think everyone knows that Andrea and Taylor, like that duo have a reputation of being junkyard dogs.
They're tough. They're tough
yeah,
girls.
Like the two, like when you think of two CrossFitters, you don't even think of two men the way you think of, there's no two men or two women or anywhere that kind of represent what they represent. Like, hey, where we go fucking wins.
Yeah.
They're like together they make Rich Froning. Like, and then, they're savages for sure.
Savages. I mean, Rich didn't bring him in for nothing. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So, it was hard. It was really hard. They're like mentally and physically, it was really difficult because it's such high volume, which I was already doing a lot of volume, but it's different. And especially when you just are following along each day. So, you know, you're just doing what Rich puts up on the board and doesn't matter really how you feel, you're going to do it. And man, like the amount of volume ends up kind of tanking you mentally a little bit over time, or at least for me it did, where like I had some CNS fatigue and like it gets harder to control your emotions when you're really, really tired with your central nervous system. So then you're like battling that, and man, it was just intense. It was so awesome. I loved it every day, like going out to the barn and, you know, seeing how beautiful it was out there. And like, I was like, this is literally the coolest thing ever. But you
can't really lean on anyone as you get that emotional fatigue either, right? Because you're the alternate. You can't be like,
yeah,
hey, I'm having some issues. It's like, Who cares? You're the fifth wheel anyway. Shut up.
Yeah. And I mean, I was just there, like just there to work out. Like I definitely wasn't a focal point in any sort of way, and that was so fine. That's okay.
How long was that? How long was that training camp? That regiment?
It was like, I don't know, maybe like 6 months or so. It's hard for me to remember.
Shit. Holy
It was
shit.
that whole season, like the whole season.
Wow.
In. I'd have to go back and really look at photos and stuff. I remember at that time they were filming the workouts at the barn, like the morning session. There was a live, if you remember that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Live. Yeah. So it was around that time. I don't know, but man, it was a pleasure to learn from them. And honestly,
was that the fittest you ever were after that regiment?
Potentially, yeah. I think that I was also pretty broken after I got done with that because I was dumb and didn't have the personal strength to be like, I'm gonna go lighter in this one, or hey, like I'm gonna skip the PM session today because you guys have been doing this at this level a very long time and I'm a little bit newer to it, so I need to taper in a little bit more. Instead, I just like was so strong-willed to just do what they were doing, right? And maybe I should have taken a little bit more time off to really rest. It's so that I could sustain it longer and better. That's all. And that's nothing on them. They definitely wouldn't have given a damn if I said, hey, I need to step out on this one tonight. If it was consistent, obviously they'd be like, what's up? But they don't like overly pressure you. I put the pressure on me.
Right.
So, but through that, I had Mayhem mindset, which was really helping me process that and like learn how to be mentally strong through that. I would like to have thought that I was mentally strong going into that, but the pressure can really bring out what's actually in you. And when I was pressure tested, there were parts of me that were not strong, that were not wise, that were not controlled. And Mayhem mindset was kind of helping me process that and learn how to control that through it as well. So that was cool. A season of life that, again, I was like, I didn't know then, but was refining me to do some cool things after too, where now I get the chance to, pursue being a champion in a different sport. And I can apply all of those same principles I learned from watching the best in that sport do it to what I do now. And just to be in the room consistently with those level of athletes, again, it was just a blessing to get to be there. And I wish so bad I could go back and redo it with the person I am now and do it so much better than I did it then. But I was doing the best I could with where I was at in character development at the time. And man, it was one of the coolest things in my life. I'm very thankful for the season I got to spend there with them.
Heidi Kroom, I've been wiping my hard drives. I've never heard a woman say that.
Not sure.
I've never heard a woman say that. I thought that was like a man thing. What? I thought like taking out the trash and wiping hard drives were things dudes do. All right. Very masculine of you, Heidi. Okay. 2000. Thank you for sharing all that. 2022. So you go there, and you entered that competition in Colorado. You take 8th. Fortunately,
in Ohio, and then that
in
year,
Ohio. Sorry.
And then at nationals that year, that's when Jake lent me his rifle to go because I didn't have any of my own stuff. So I bought a Glock.
And how did you place that year at nationals?
I was 4th, and I was out of the podium by just a few points.
Oh, so okay. So you did, in that time, you really started putting in the work. After you qualified, you became obsessive.
Right. So this is where I say I can transfer a lot of those same principles over to a different craft. Because I bought a Glock, which was very affordable. I think I paid like $600 for this used Glock 34. And at the time, we were shooting iron sights in Elite, so I didn't have to buy an optic or anything like that. I can just shoot the gun as it came, pretty much.
Meaning you just lined up that thing on the back of the gun and the front of the gun, those little knobs.
Exactly.
Little bumps. That's how you did it. And was everyone else using scopes?
No. So 2024 was our first year that we were allowed to use pistol red dots.
Okay. Okay.
Can you imagine what I mean when I say that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So at least the field was level, even though you had an entry level gun. No
Yes.
one had like better optics than you. Okay,
Right.
okay, okay.
Well, people were running nicer guns for
Right.
sure. The Glock was still
But they still had to line up those little bumps on the gun, one in the
exactly.
front and the back. Okay.
Yep. And that year at nationals, I really did not know much. I mean, so Jake lent me I had bought the pistol so I could practice a lot leading in with the pistol, but I was starting from ground zero. Like I was a pure civilian, never really shot before, didn't know how to do any of this stuff, and just watched a lot of YouTube videos and like a lot and tried to apply all of those principles to my dry fire.
Like watch a video and then go outside and then try to mimic it.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Like
you can
that
do
kind of
that.
shit. Like learning the snatch, like how we used to learn the snatch in the old days. You watch the video, then you run out to your garage.
Exactly. So I had a garage or basement garage gym at the time. And instead of doing 2 sessions a day of fitness, I would do the morning session. And then my evening session was an hour and a half of learning how to use this weapon instead. So I attacked it very much like a dedicated, focused session each day, which was from what I obviously learning from what they did, right? They had a morning session and an afternoon session. I just changed the afternoon one to shooting because now I'm balancing fitness and shooting. And I just dry fired a lot. I had no idea what I was doing. I was testing things I found on YouTube. There was days in my basement that I was like, what the heck am I training for? I feel so crazy. I had these boxes stacked up and I'm like pretending to shoot one, reload around the boxes, shoot the other. And I'm like, what am I trained to be, like a CIA agent? Like, this is nuts. Right. And then, so I'm literally playing with this gun in my basement for an hour each day, like 5 times a week, like a crazy person, but I loved it. It was so fun.
Probably get arrested for that in California.
But it was so fun. And I loved being a beginner at something, and I loved that you can endlessly hone a skill. So even when you're exhausted physically, you can still work on the skills of shooting, which is really cool because in CrossFit, there's a limit to how much you can test in a day or get good at in a day. And I can't go and study the snatch anymore. I already know the movement. It just comes down to pure physical effort at that point. Whereas with this, endless skill that I can work on all day. And I had minimal responsibilities in my life. I was coaching, just making my bills, period. That's it. And then at this time I had separated from my ex. So it was just me. So I had all the time to focus on this sort of thing and go all in. And I was also kind of studying to take the MCAT again at that time. But anyways,
That's to go to medical school?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I competed at nationals. Oh, sorry. I didn't have a rifle. Did not own a rifle at that time. Jake found out that I wasn't going to nationals because I wasn't going to go originally in 22 because I didn't have a rifle. So
Were you dating him at this time?
No, I was not dating him. We just knew each other because we had met through tactical games at Ohio.
Any sparks there the first time?
No, I wouldn't say that. Maybe for him.
Okay.
He would probably say so. I was just trying to figure out how to do this gun thing that was in front of me. And so he had generously reached out and been like, all right, well, if that's the reason you're not going, like, I'll ship you my rifle and you can shoot it for nationals so you can come and compete. So
Did you know that was courtship, sending you the rifle?
No.
God, girls are oblivious. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I am notoriously pretty naive when it comes to that stuff.
Good. Yeah.
I was actually I was not trying to date at all at that point. And I just took it as a very nice gesture. And I was like, wow, this is so kind of him. So anyways, I went out and competed. I got the rifle like 2 days before nationals. So the prep was short as far as rifle went. But wow. Here's the cool thing. I stayed very focused on the fundamentals of knowing how to aim. So line up your sights, right, on the pistol. And then on the rifle, put the reticle where you want it to go.
The what?
The reticle in the optic. So on the rifle scope, there's like a reticle on it, like the crosshair reticle.
Yeah.
The center dot. And then there's some hashes beneath it if you're going to shoot at longer range to hold.
Did you know how to make it so that the scope actually the reticle, that hash, whatever that X, actually the bullet goes there?
No. Not
that
really.
Part always intimidates me. Like whenever I've gone shooting with Dave, like he spends time doing that shit. I'm like, that part looks crazy.
that is this whole Pandora's box that I'm very much enjoying learning now. And looking back to that first year, I'm like, how did I do as good as I did?
Who did that for you? Who set that up? Did someone set that up for you?
So it's Jake's real rifle. So he had, set it up and like zeroed it at 100 yards for me. But I was shooting this ammo that is traditionally pretty inconsistent, like the cheap ammo that you get from Academy, the Winchester white box stuff, like 55 grain, which traditionally at longer ranges would have a lot more variability. So you might pull a great shot, but it still miss because the ammo isn't as like laser beams you can imagine, because it's the quality of the ammo.
Like the wind, like the sides of the bullets are bumpy and the wind hits it and sends it in different directions.
Yeah, it could be more impacted by wind, and also like, yeah, it's a deep hole, but it's just a lot.
Hey, let me ask you, how much is that rifle worth that he let you borrow?
So the optic on it, I don't know. I would have to ask
$1,000 or $2,000 or?
I would say maybe like $2,000 to $3,000.
And he sent it to you by FedEx, just in the mail?
Yeah, you send it by FFL, like a specific thing that
Oh my God.
ships guns, but like
that's like will you marry me shit? But go on. Whoa.
Well, to be fair, he wasn't competing at the time and didn't have like a true use for it. He says, at least.
I wouldn't even go to FedEx unless I wanted to marry someone, let alone send them something that's $3,000. If I'm sending someone something by FedEx, that means I got in my car and went and had to deal with people wearing masks and shit. Fuck that. That's crazy. Okay, go on.
This is kind of wrapping back to where I say like the generosity of people around me in my early days, and even now getting to do this has been something that feels like a God wink, because it just like, it's been so insane. But anyways, he sent me this rifle and I take it to nationals. All I know is line up the sights on the, pistol, and then on the rifle.
He's not there. He doesn't show up there. He's not there.
He's there.
So he shows up to nationals too. So he sends you the gun 2 days before nationals. Then you lug it down there, but he's there. He's like, "Oh, hi, Jenay. I'm your future husband."
So there, nationals took place at this time at my now home range, Texas Shooting Academy. It's like 20 minutes up the road from me.
Is this when Jared owned Tactical Games?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So that's why it was there, because like Jared lives in this area that he used to own that range. Okay. So it was there. So I go to nationals and all I know is like line up the sights and pull the trigger slow and do the clearing procedure right. When it comes to shooting, the fitness stuff can be an afterthought for me because I know fitness. I'm good at fitness. So if I just like mentally separate, when I do fitness, I do fitness. When I'm shooting, I'm only thinking about shooting. I'm going to line up the sights. I'm going to pull the trigger slow. That's it. And that's all I knew. That's all I did. And it ended up being pretty good, which is a testament to never being above the fundamentals. You should always still be focused on the fundamentals. And, yeah, there's power in that for me. So I ended up doing pretty good. I was just a few points out of the podium. And it was a big encouragement to me. It was like, I felt like I was exactly where I should be, and that all of this work behind me, the years of banging my head against the wall in CrossFit, the growth that I had through these journeys of being around different training camps back at Backcountry that taught me all of that. And then especially at Mayhem with being around people who are exemplary in their craft and what they do. And then I get this opportunity to step into this new sport, and all of my talents and who I am as a person makes sense there. And I don't suck at it. And I was like, this is sweet. Like I was made for this. And that made me go full in after that. After that year of nationals, I went hard in the paint to try to win the following year.
And what could be going harder in the paint than 90 minutes of physical training in the morning, 90 minutes of gun handling in the evening? Did you increase your training?
Physically, I decreased my training from the prior year because I wasn't training for, I don't even know if I could say I was training for the CrossFit Games before, because I wasn't, but I was doing like
you were.
I was in my mind. I was.
Us normal people. If you're training with Andrea, if you're being an alternate to Andrea and Taylor, even if it's just like no chance, it's training for the games.
Yeah, it was cool.
We're gonna give it to you. Yeah, if you're training in the barn.
I got to do less physical training, which was actually hard for me because you get so adapted to the love of training like that like it felt weird to not train that hard physically, which is why I could put so much energy into training weapons manipulation and doing dry fire. So that next year I worked very hard. Yes, I did a lot of dry fire as my second session, mostly every day. I did plenty of live fire sessions as well. I ended up moving down to Texas in 23. Later in the year,
Before the nationals?
Yeah, I think it might have been in like August.
And are you dating Jake now?
Yeah, I was dating Jake.
Point?
Yeah, we started dating like a few months into 23. So I ended up keeping his rifle for the first couple of matches so I could go and win the rifle. So once I won my own rifle, I gave him back his rifle.
So at the 2022 nationals, when you take fourth, is Jake there?
Yeah, he was there.
And does he court you there more?
No.
No.
No, I mean, we talked a little bit, but I don't know. Like I was very just like thankful for his rifle, and he taught me a little bit about how to use it.
But then a couple months in, nationals are in November, but then by February or March, you guys are dating and moving to Texas together?
Okay, so he already lived down here in Texas.
Oh, did you move down there for him?
No, I told him very explicitly no, but it was.
Oh, really? What? So explain. He's like, are you? So you're like, hey, I'm moving to Texas, but just so you know, I'm not moving down there for you.
I did say that, yes, but here's the thing.
He got off the phone and fucking went and put his head in a pillow after that. He shed a tear. He's like, what the fuck?
He would see me more, but so I was coaching at Mayhem through all of this. I was able to take on a lot of the afternoon classes. I had the 6 p.m. and the 7 p.m. every day. It was so great. I loved those people in my classes, but I was capped out on growth when it came to my job at Mayhem. So I was never going to make more money than I was making.
Because they don't promote women there.
Definitely not that.
Okay,
but I had inquired about being a part of more. And I do know that now they have like the Mayhem performance coaching. Mm-hmm. That really wasn't a thing back then. And I did have a teen athlete that I was working with, but she was going to graduate up to working with one of the higher level Mayhem coaches as well. And like, there's just not opportunity for me to grow into more as a employee of Mayhem. And I, with my newfound hobby, was going to need more income. And I wanted to do more when it came to coaching. And boy, did I get what I asked for. So Jared owns Rattler CrossFit down here, and he had offered to pay me more per class and to pretty much free reign. I can coach as much as I want. So it would be an elevated thing for my career to move down here and take on more classes and then have more ability to grow in this gym. Obviously, knowing he didn't have a general manager in place yet.
How old was the gym? How old was the gym?
Brand new, like a year old. Year old.
I think maybe that's around when I met him. I'm trying to remember how much I know about him. I think he originally reached out to me, or I reached out to him. Somehow we talked about when he was opening his gym, I think. Anyway, go on. I don't know why.
Yeah, it was in the early days. And then, so my lease was ending in Cookeville. I was having trouble finding a place to live. I felt like it was probably my time to leave. I think Mayhem for most people is, at least that come in like at my age, is more of a landing spot for growth. And then, head on out and go do something in life. And Jim would always encourage me in that too. He's like, Jenay, like, there's more for your life than just doing fitness here at Mayhem. Like, pursue something greater. And with that in mind, like, I felt like it was kind of like my time was maybe coming to an end there. I got this opportunity to work down here at Rattler. The range is, again, like 15 minutes north of the gym. In Cookeville, I had to drive an hour and 45 minutes to the nearest public range that would let me shoot. So ranges are actually...
You couldn't just go to Froning Senior's house and just shoot?
It sounds... Okay, so that sounds really easy to do, but it's actually a lot more impactful on the land. Like, you're sending a lot of lead into the berm wherever you're at, or into their ground. And then it's pretty disruptive noise wise, and like certain places you can shoot, certain places you can't. So my friend Justin Betancourt would let me train at his house often. And I loved that. It was great. It was like 20 or 30 minutes away from my house, but it was his house. So the level that I wanted to train at, I would be like disrespecting, like crossing a boundary of being out there too much.
Right.
Because,
Okay.
I didn't want to bother them. Although they were always so gracious about it, I just felt like that was inappropriate on my end. So the nearest range that would let me shoot, because when I say shoot, like I want to move and shoot and do reloads and shoot long range and like just kind of be autonomous. And
it's not like the movies where you were going somewhere, shoot a piece of paper, pull it up, and leave in 30 minutes.
Right. Like that's not enough. Although that is
you're training.
Yeah, like I'm trying to get good at action shooting and long range and all the stuff that the tactical games requires. So the nearest public range that would let me do that is an hour 45 out. Like that's insane. So I didn't have a place to train for shooting, and I was capped out on growth as far as my career went at Mayhem. Felt like, maybe my time was up. I get the opportunity to coach more down here. I get a free membership at the range, which is 15 minutes up the road.
And your boss owns the range.
Yeah. And
that's cool.
And then also I get to learn from Jared, just being around him.
And he was a national champ.
Yeah. So he was an OG of the sport. So the structure is different across the years. There's obviously a very clear, definitive national championship now. In the early days, there was just events. And then I can't remember the first year that there was a national champion. So in all that to say, he dominated the sport in all of the early years. And then I think he got a current national championship like once or twice, but he dominated for a long time before that. So, and he did all other shooting sports as well, like long range stuff. And he was a 3-gunner for a while. So his knowledge base is pretty deep. Anyways, I got to, shoot with him, learn with him, and coach a lot, have a place to train, have a place to shoot. I was like, this is an obvious choice for my life right now. That's a win.
You had a suitor in town.
And that. So bonus, I'm interested in Jake. I want to date him for real, but it is impossible to do that from afar and have a true gauge on who he is as a human being. So I wanted to date him in real life. And that was a part of it. But I was like, Jake, this is not the only reason that I'm moving down here. So, but we were able to date for real in real life. And that was necessary if we were going to keep progressing forward in our relationship.
Did you train together with him, shooting and CrossFit training? What I would call the physical part, tactical game training?
Yeah. So Jake actually owned a CrossFit gym for, I forget how long, like a long time, several years. He was deep in the CrossFit space. He was a judge at the game for a bunch of years and used to help as an equipment lead or something like that.
I probably know him. If I saw him, I'd probably recognize him.
It was definitely in the early days of CrossFit, but he just, all that to say, like he has a deep heart for CrossFit and was a CrossFit coach for a long time, given that he owned a gym. So we bonded over the CrossFit stuff for sure. We train at the gym together. We did then, we do now when we can. He's got a full-time job, so we don't get to do that all the time, but yeah, we definitely train together pretty often. And then we go shoot together for fun, for sure. I would say that him having a full-time job makes it so I go out there by myself quite often, but it is a pleasure when we get to train together.
This is him?
Yeah, that's Jake.
Do you remember the last day that you didn't in your life that you didn't hold a gun in your hand? Like every day, do you hold a gun in your hand?
Not every day. I would say, so this is kind of part of the evolution, right? Like when my first year in the tactical games, I had to dry fire every day to catch up to where people were at. Dry
fire is just like you point the gun, you pull the trigger, and it just goes click.
Correct.
There's no bullets in it.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. No bullets in it. They do make these little fake bullets, so you can practice weapons manipulation with it. But you're also thinking about like moving and shooting, doing reloads.
Do the fake bullets come out when you pull the trigger?
No, that's kind of the problem with them.
Oh, okay.
So it would just be like teaching you how
like
they
load
work.
And okay.
Yeah. They're more of like a teaching thing than anything, in my opinion. I don't use them a whole lot now, but Yeah, so you can work on so much with gun stuff without being on a range and firing expensive real rounds. All of your movement, your weapons manipulation, meaning draws, reloads, using like doing target transitions. So looking at a target and then bringing your gun to it, looking at the next one, bringing your gun to it. My house has little targets all over it for when I dry fire. But
Is that a target, that mandala behind you?
No, someone made that for our wedding.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sweet. But so like there's so much that you can do without going to a range and without firing actual rounds, which is crucial for me, given that I'm not rolling in the dough where I can just go shoot all the rounds I want all the time. So anyways, all that to say, I started off doing a whole lot of that because I had a big gap to make up and there was so much to learn and ingrain. And then as you get more experience, you establish those baseline skills and they become habitual for you. You can dry fire less to maintain those skills. And dry firing more might reap a 1% reward versus in the early days, it might reap like a 5% or a 10% reward each day. So that you plateau out with your skills a little bit, and dry firing maybe 3 or 4 times a week is probably more true to like what I do now to maintain my skills and like still be improving, obviously. Then early on, I needed to spend a lot more time doing that. Also, in the early days, I mean, I was telling you that like I was making very little money and just like I had all the time in the world because my job was simple, just coaching a few hours at night. And I had all the time to just do that all day. Now, as I've grown and like I'm married now, I have more responsibilities at the gym, which I'm getting paid now for, but like I don't have as much time as I did before to spend all day just playing with guns anymore. So the time that I spend might be less, but it's a lot more focused on those like 1% skills that I'm trying to sharpen. Whereas early on, there's a lot more time, but I was working on like big building blocks. I wasn't fine tuning the little minute details. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It must be a trip changing equipment too, right? That must like put the learning curve back. Like if you change your holster, all of a sudden your motor recruitment pattern of how you pull up or forward, or I don't know what it is, but just the angles that the gun comes in and out, all of that shit has to be reprogrammed, right?
100%. It does make it quite hard to switch between. And just for one example, like I shot a Glock before and then I switched to a 2011, and the 2011 has a different grip angle. So when you draw your pistol, like the angle of the grip might be more like this versus
so the angle of your wrist all of a sudden, or your shoulder or your arm, now have to compensate for it.
Yeah, your wrist. So with that said, like now we have even if it was iron sights, but we have optics on our pistols now, red dots on our pistols. So if I have a consistent draw with a Glock, for example, when I present it in a certain grip angle, I'm going to see the dot every time in the same spot. Now, if I switch to a 2011, I have to have a different grip angle to see the dot appropriately. So yeah, it is quite difficult to switch between. And I think most people in the sport just stick with one for the whole year, so that, you don't have to repattern anything. But it is definitely...
That must be scary to change something like that.
Yeah, it can be for sure. It just takes more dry fire. That's it. So I feel like if I had a few days of solid dry fire with it, I could pattern myself back into that new habit because it's similar. It's just a slightly different angle.
Which is huge. And from the way the bullet travels out of the target, though, out of the gun to the target.
And just like mainly seeing the red dot. So when you draw a pistol and say you have a certain grip angle, you might not see the red dot. So you'd have to go fishing.
Oh.
Which takes time and makes you look like a noob.
Yeah. Stoked for you, Jenay, to crush it at Nationals. It's been awesome watching your journey. Action Gunner.
Thank you. That's so kind.
Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, Mr. Future President. That's kind of cool. Future President. I wonder if you'll still watch the show when you're president. Do you use any dry fire training devices? Are those the things like I see on Instagram where it's like the guy's like got like a gun and he shoots it in his house?
Yeah. 100%. So sometimes there's these little like cartridges that you can put in the chamber that make it recoil, but it's not actually shooting a live round. Usually it's some sort of like gas powered thing. There's a couple different ones. Mantis, it comes to mind. There's actually a rifle that I won at nationals. What's it called? It'll come to mind in a second here, but it kind of looks like a paintball. Like it has a paintball gun vibe. It's a rifle, but it is the same thing as a normal rifle. So like the structure of the gun is a normal rifle, but the magazine in the barrel shoot this like mini airsoft looking thing, pellet thing that feels like you're shooting a paintball gun, because some of them have marking rounds, so I can put them in my backyard and like go in, like it feels like you're playing paintball in your backyard, but it's a real rifle, and you can mount a real optic to it that mimics your real rifle. So a lot of unit solutions is what it's called, a unit solutions rifle. So this is applicable mainly for military LEO because they can do CQB style stuff with it.
What's CQB?
So I think
What's CQB?
Close quarters.
Okay.
So clearing a house. We'll just keep it simple with that. Or like if you were battling, you know what I mean? Like you enter a house as a police officer and you're going to clear the house or whatever. Same thing military wise. So I think it was mainly made for that. And then they saw some crossover in tactical games because it has the recoil. So not only can we practice the action shooting, I don't need to know CQB. There's no, like, I'm not going to do that in the tactical games, but I can use it for action shooting. And instead of dry fire where it just goes click, it'll have a little bit of recoil. And I can see the feedback of where it hit because it has that little paintball target thingy, paintball bullet thing.
Yeah.
So, and it's just wicked fun. It's very fun. So I've enjoyed trying that. I don't do it as often as I should because it's a little bit of setup. You have to like load the magazines with these little paintball thingies. And then other than that, I don't use any other dry fire stuff right now. I haven't done the Mantis laser stuff, anything like that. I just do good old fashioned dry fire. Oh, there's also those goggles with the
Oculus ones, the virtual reality ones.
Yeah. VR. Yes. The Oculus goggles. So there's a company that makes a shooting version of that. And they have fake guns that I think there's like a remote or something that goes in it. And you can shoot, actually imagine like a live video game. Like you shoot the moving targets and stuff like a video game, but it's with
have you done that?
Yeah, it's so fun.
I bet it's fun.
Loved it. It was so fun. At SHOT Show last year, I spent like 45 minutes in the goggles and it felt like 10 minutes. It was a blast. So there are tools like that make dry fire more fun so that you're more apt to do it and maybe a little bit more applicable if you have the recoil. For me, they are more expensive and I could be using that money to buy real ammunition. And for me, I've been trying to just be disciplined with my normal dry fire instead of needing that like fun video game stimulus of having the VR goggles. Although I do think it's helpful for learning how moving targets react. Like they have the Texas Star, so it's like do you know what I mean by that? It's like a Texas Star.
Yeah.
And then it starts to spin.
Yeah.
So spinning targets and stuff like that, it can be really beneficial to help you understand how it reacts, in my opinion. But a lot of the dry fire can be done with just normal targets on the wall that cost and your actual gun, and that's it. So I keep it very rudimentary in that way for dry fire.
Sevon has no idea. I have a little bit of an idea. I've seen all this stuff at Dave's house. It's crazy. I always forget how expensive and crazy ammunition is, just because the only person I know who shoots is Dave, and he has a whole Connex box. Like, it's crazy.
And I'm sure loading his own ammo, you can obviously reap more for your money when you do that.
I'm surprised, being the 2-time national champ, that people don't like. No one sends you like pallets of ammo.
Not right now. In the past,
that doesn't make sense to me. I would think that, like, just because I see the benefits Dave gets, and he's not forward facing in that community the way you are.
Yeah, I mean, two things. For one, I think that I am not the biggest fan of social media, to my detriment. If I posted more, perhaps I would be more lucrative to sponsors. To send me ammo, I don't know. I like just living my life. I don't want to post all the time. It's not very fun for me, but I'm trying to change my perspective on that and be a little bit more authentic and open. I much more prefer in-person conversations. Like obviously I'm in the CrossFit gym every day. So we do the training days with people out at the range. So when I talk about the gear that I'm using for training days, for example, like I'm way more apt to share in depth, like what equipment I'm using, why, show it to the people in person. That feels way more authentic to me than like just posting on Instagram. It just doesn't feel very natural to me, and something that I'm working on. I need to be better about. So,
Do you have a YouTube channel?
I mean, no, not really.
No.
I could. Then maybe that would be better.
because what's cool about that is people in your I'm assuming because people want to hear all the things. They have something called YouTube Shorts, but like you can just from your phone go YouTube live and be like, hey guys, here's 3 tips I have on how I lay out my bullets before I load them, so that I take them out of the box, I do this, and then I have this loader. And it could be a 60-second video, and you just shoot the whole thing just with your phone. And there's like, you'd be blown away at the number of people who are like, oh fuck, that's so stupid, I've been loading them one at a time. Or do you know what I mean? Oh god, that's so much better than pulling I'm just making this up, I don't know shit, but then pulling each bullet out of the box. Like, hey, I put them in this bowl, or I make sure they're all lined up in this direction, and then I can load them fast. Or do you know what I mean? Like there's probably like a million things like that. And then if there's a sponsor, they can, even without you explicitly pushing them, everyone will, all the geeks are gonna be like, oh shit, she uses Smith & Wesson, blah blah blah.
Yeah, good point. And then
anyway, you probably thought of all that, but yeah.
No, I haven't. That's actually
you kind of just have to put it into like, hey guys, on this belt that I wear, everyone knows the third buckle is really tight. This is what I did. I made it bigger with the screwdriver. Boom, done. And everyone's like, oh shit. I just know that because there's things like, if you're into editing, there'll be something you can't do on Final Cut Pro and you're banging your head on about it. And then if you Google it, there's one other person who figured it out.
Right.
So
yeah, a lot of what I posted, like right now, my husband is really into getting content and doing media creation stuff. And it's super fun to watch him do that. He's grown a lot, and it's like a passion project for him that has turned into a side hustle, and hopefully will grow into more over time. So it's easy for me to just post that stuff. But just quick one and done. Yeah, good point. Okay, noted.
Guys, I learned this trick every time I set up a tripod for my rifle. If there's nothing to balance it on, this is how I do it.
Mm-hmm.
Or hey, never use a shoe because of, just the dumbest things that you think might be dumb will help so many people.
Yeah. And then another thing, I did have an ammo sponsorship last year, and it was super beneficial. I loved it. It was amazing. And the sponsorships in general were new to me coming into tactical games, because that's just not something that really happens in CrossFit for nearly almost all athletes. Right. And just learning a lot about that, how that process works and what things mean, and how much it's actually work on both sides, and it should be, because you're exchanging value both ways, right?
Yes, but you want to add value to your sponsors. You never, that's the problem. If someone sponsors your show, you want to make sure that they walk away thinking they got something from you, not you got something from them. I think that's how I try to think. Oh, fuck, am I going to sell enough holy balls for them?
Right. Yeah. See, that's a perspective that I really just I didn't even know to think about when I first started getting sponsors. So anyways, I think
most people don't. Like even the best managers in the space fuck that up. Like, hey dude, those people don't have to fucking pay you money.
Right. And I also, how I was saying that early on, I didn't know the value of things that I was getting at first, because I just didn't know what I didn't know. And then the deeper that I get into this sport and the more perspective I gain, the more things I get to work with and even purchase myself, I understand the value of things more. So now looking back on that sponsorship, I see how valuable it was of what I got out of it. And I feel like I did my best to provide value back to them. And they wanted a very specific social media value. And then also there was internal structure changes within that company. So there was this level of did I not do good enough? But I really did do my best to represent them.
Right.
But then there's also that level of like, well, they had structural changes on the inside. So how was I to predict that? So I did expect to have an ammo sponsorship for this year because it was supposed to be a 2-year thing, but like it just didn't turn out that way. And now I'm being flexible in that. So yeah, it's definitely been a challenge this year. And, you know, taking on the potential of new sponsors, I consider it on a deeper level now where I'm like, okay, but what value can I provide back? Am I able to meet these requirements that they're giving to me? Because like I said, I don't really love social media. So if they're like, you need to post twice a week, I would be like, well, that's super inauthentic to me. So
right. I feel that way too. I kind of have this, I don't want to post ads on my Instagram account like that, and that's how most of the CrossFit Games athletes do it. I really don't want to do that. I just don't want to do that.
Right.
But there are ways to do it authentically. Like I said, like if you're like, hey, oh, you're going to be my bullet sponsor. Okay, cool. And then you can think in your head, what are 10 things I can talk about bullets and make 10 1-minute videos?
Right.
I like bullets like this. Here's where I store my bullets. The 30-second video.
Right.
This is how I travel with bullets. Another 30-second video. You know what I mean? This is where I hide my bullets so my husband doesn't take them.
So funny.
Don't touch my bullets.
Yeah, I think going into sponsorships now, I would have that would be a better way to approach it. Is like, hey, here are the ways that I could speak about your product. Does this align with your vision for what you want out of this relationship as well? And then I have more structure going in of like things to hit versus in the past, I was like, okay, cool, I'm sponsored.
Yeah.
What does that mean? How do I provide value? Yeah, just things that I've been learning
that's probably biblical too. I remember Greg Glassman said to me, your only value on planet Earth is how you can offer service to other human beings.
You know, it's funny. I was just telling a friend that like early on when I was in my basement, like learning all these skills, and I was like, this is literally crazy that I'm doing so much work to learn how to use guns. And I would think to myself, I feel so selfish. Like, I hope that one day this is worth more than just me pretending to shoot shit in my basement. And then, you know, we're doing all these training days and I'm really trying to like share some knowledge with people. And it's hard. It's hard work. It's really hard work. And there's so many days where I walk in and I'm like, what do I know about shooting? Like, why is anyone coming to learn from me? Obviously I do know some things, but like there's those moments of self-doubt and like feeling in over your head and like overwhelmed by trying to put on an excellent experience for people. And my friend and I had this moment where we acknowledged how I used to say that. Actually just this morning, we were like, hey man, I used to ask for this. And now it is, all this knowledge is worth more than me and I'm able to share it. And man, did I know what I was asking for when I asked for it?
Hey, even the most, even the biggest assholes I've ever been around, and what I would call some of the most selfish people I've been around, their contribution to humanity in the fact that they mastered something so well, I think outweighed what pieces of shit they are. Do you know what I mean by that? And
Yes.
and you, like like just your journey alone as a story, and by the way, in no way am I suggesting, I'm not picking any asshole up from you, but your journey alone is like someone can hear your story and be like, holy shit, she was on this journey, she didn't know why, she stayed true to it, then another door opened up and she jumped in and she excelled at it, even though it was still a shitload of hard work and a lot of alone time. But people will parlay that into anything, like, oh shit, I can open my sourdough bread business, or I can, you know what I mean? People, like, your contribution in just being a master of a discipline is massive, I think, to humanity, because there's so many just regular people out there,
Right.
and being regular sucks.
I totally agree. 100%.
Yeah.
And I think that I hope my story inspires people to see that like I literally came from knowing nothing when it came to guns. I just worked really hard and was fervent in researching how I could get to the place I wanted to be. I watched endless YouTube videos. I went and practiced. And then at the right time, I was able to get knowledge from people like Jared and Jake when I was first starting out, and other like exceptional shooters that I met along the way that like saw how hard I was working to do this on my own, and that I cared so much. I was putting all that work in. So if they did invest in me, that I would make it worth their time. And I think now competing with that in mind, like I get to go out there and honor all the work that they put into me as well, right? Like I get to go out there and represent every single person who has poured into me and generously given me knowledge and direction and helped me on my way every time I go and compete. And that's a really cool spot to be in. But I don't forget that I came from nothing and literally like no money to do this and no knowledge on how to do this. And the only reason I get to do it is because those people invested in me. So I go out there and I compete for them.
And you took advantage of it. You made the best of it.
I made the best of it. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to make the best of it. Right. And like I said, these are the talents God gave me. And I hope to honor my faith as well by going out there and doing my best to compete well and and shine the light.
Even like this is a listener to the show, Heidi. And I remember when she first started listening to the show, she didn't, I don't think she did jiu-jitsu. And then she started jiu-jitsu early on in the show. We'd have a lot of fighters on, and I don't know if that's what inspired her. But now, and my kids do jiu-jitsu, and I'm always like, maybe I should do it. But in those years that I've just putzing around in my head, maybe I should do it. Now it's been 5 years, and every once in a while I'll see on her Instagram, like she got a new belt. Like she thinks she's doing it for herself, but like I'm like inspired by that. You know what I mean? Oh shit, she got her fucking, purple belt. Oh shit, you know what I mean? Yeah, and I'm just like, well, yeah, now I'm a purple belt. How lovely. Yeah, it's fucking cool, man.
That is so awesome.
Yeah, and those things are hard.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get a purple belt by being a jackass.
Man, I haven't stepped into a jiu-jitsu gym myself, but I've heard the stories about it. I can imagine it's really difficult.
Yeah. So you win 2023, you win 2024. When you win 2020, do you dominate in the sport? Is it close every year? What was the scoring like in 2024?
I won fair and square. I won both years.
Did you, like at the CrossFit Games, Tia's like, there's one event left and she already won. Are you doing shit like that?
23, I think it was pretty much that. 24, I just had to not blow it in the last event.
Okay. And
I had to just do okay.
What do you think is setting you apart?
I don't know.
Like, can you be like, well, it's the fitness because I trained at Mayhem and I'm so much fitter?
No. I mean, one of the girls that competes in the sport, one of my biggest competitors, she's an excellent competitor. Her name is E. She was a CrossFit Games athlete in the past. I forget what year, but she competed at the CrossFit Games. So if this was purely a CrossFit event, like just the fitness thing was carrying me through, I wouldn't beat her. But I am also working very hard to be an excellent shooter, and that is necessary in order to be at the top. I think being a champion at anything is a mix of not only the raw skill and talent, but also so much mindset as well. And doing that work at Mayhem Mindset and just being around people who have, taught me how to carry that kind of pressure and not crumple under it has been helpful. My background in competing at a high level in sports as well plays into it too. So it's not just about the skill. It's also about how you carry yourself through all of that. And like I said, I just had a lot of resources in my life that have kind of groomed me for that. Doesn't mean I do it perfect either. Sometimes I mess that up, but I feel like I've got a lot of good tools under my belt to be successful. And I work really hard. I can say that, but it's hard to say, oh, well, I work really hard and that's why I win. I also think that my competitors work really hard. I would be naive to think that they don't, all due respect, they work very hard.
They want to beat you. They want to win.
Yeah. Of course they do. Yeah. And I'm going to fight.
They're spending a lot of time and money also.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just know that all I can control is coming into nationals feeling like I've literally done everything I can do in order to prepare myself to win. And honestly, after that first year in 23, when I got done and won and was thinking about the next year, so this was like a week or so after, I literally thought to myself, I was like, I don't know if I can do that again. Because it was so hard for me to get to a point where I could win. I had worked my butt off and sacrificed so much and tons of lonely days doing dry fire to this. I had this Zach Bryan playlist I would play every time. And I'm like just thinking to myself, like, this is crazy. Like, this is so much work. And then I get done and I was like, that was so much hard work that I don't know if I can do it again. But of course you negate that thought right after and you're like, but it was totally awesome and I'm going to do it again. It's maybe just the competitor in me that continues to desire that hard challenge ahead of me and having something to wake up and work hard for each day. I think that there are seasons in life, where maybe you want to be a little bit more relaxed, maybe when I have a family one day or whatever. But right now, like, the competitor in me enjoys the challenge of every single day. There's always something to learn and improve on with your skills as far as the shooting goes. And then it gives purpose to my training each day. And that's true to me as a champion and true to any competitor in the sport that is just there to have a good time too, right? Like, there's plenty of people that go out there and they're like, yeah, I do this because I love it. And now I have something to train for when I step into the gym each day, or else what am I training for? Right.
Right. Okay. Tactical games sold. What do you remember what year that was? Had you won the championships already?
That was in 23.
After you won?
Before I won.
Okay. And so you'd been in the sport about a year before it sold.
Yeah, not very long.
Okay. Did that? How did that affect you? I bring that up because obviously, since 2020, there's just there's that ripple always rippling through the space that I hang out in. Who are the owners? Who's the leadership? Just where I hang out, I'm in that shore break. I know some people aren't, like my mom's not, right? Like, she just goes to her gym and trains. But where I hang out, I'm in that where the waves hit the rocks. And so, like, I'm always like on the pulse of what's the leadership saying? How's that affecting me? What can we report on? Who are the new owners you're going to be? How does it, like, they brought Forging Elite Fitness back, and before it was like, just make yourself happy and let's dumb this shit down. And like, so there's all of this I also noticed that other people who feel like they're in those waves too are like the best athletes in the CrossFit space. Like, they like to try to chime in on shit too, even though I think they should shut the fuck up. How has it affected you? Did the new ownership or the selling of it affect you?
So in a contrasting way to CrossFit, the sale went to Nick, who was already an employee of Tactical Games. So Jared sold it to
What's Nick's last name?
Thayer.
Okay.
Nick Thayer. So Nick was already working for Tactical Games and was right underneath Jared. So Jared had sold it to someone that the community was very familiar with. So it didn't feel like an abrupt, like, total change of scenery, I guess. And with the sale, there's always a growing period. When someone new steps in, there's always like a growing pains of that, for sure.
Right. They have ideas and things they want to change, and everyone's judging them whether they're making it better or worse.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, you're never going to make everyone happy, and there's always going to be hard moments in that. But yeah, Nick switched over to Nick, and for the most part, it didn't really affect how I showed up and competed. I mean, I still show up and do my thing and do my best to try to win. So I would say for me, it wasn't as big of a deal. I would say that it maybe freed Jared up a little bit more as well, to be just a friend and a training partner. So we could go and shoot and just be competitors together, because he went back to competing more regularly after he sold it as well. So.
So you talked about how the optics were introduced. Is that something like that the new owner did? The red dot?
I forget when the vote was had, but it was something that had been talked about.
It's voted on? How's that? What do you mean?
Yes, this is like old school vibes, right? Like, so it had been talked about in our community already. It wasn't like a brand new idea that we might vote on it, but after nationals in 23, he had the elites come together and vote on it if we wanted to do red dots or not the next year. I voted for no, because I worked extremely hard to learn how to shoot iron sights well. And there was a lot that went into that for me, that gave me a competitive advantage. And I was like, dang, I hate to lose that skill.
And then the barrier of entry goes up too because of cost.
In a way, but it also comes down in the ease of shooting a red dot. So it's easier than shooting iron sights. So does that make sense?
No, I would think that getting a red dot and getting your gun set up would be more expensive as opposed to just sitting around dry firing.
It is, but like a red dot could be like $500, for example. I think the Church of Cons are around that. Oh, some gun guys out there are gonna definitely criticize me for not knowing exactly how much they cost. But maybe say a $500 cost to get a red dot, but the ease of shooting it for people, it's definitely easier. I
see what you're saying. So in that way, it does lower the barrier of entry because people can get satisfaction quicker. Hey, listen, the time I know how boys work. Let me tell you how boys work. In the 1 hour that you're in your basement dry firing, those guys are surfing the web looking for the perfect scope. So they can complain all they want about you not knowing the price, but listen, I know boys. We'll sit around and be like, "Oh, I'm getting that. No, I'm getting that. No, I'm getting that," and you're down there dry firing. And it's interesting you say that the athletes vote. I guess. So in CrossFit, the whole thing is subsidized by the affiliates. In the structure of tactical games, I guess it's being subsidized by the actual athletes. Right.
The more athletes there, the more the sport can advance for sure.
Okay. And so, and like, that's vital. It's like surfing or bass fishing. Like there's no, like those are all being driven by product sales. Even golf. I mean, I know it's on TV and shit, but it's being driven by the $10 billion in golf balls that are sold every year. I mean, the numbers on golf are just fucking crazy. So that's basically, there's no like, the tactical games, there's not like bleachers where like thousands of fans are stacked up, right?
No, not bleachers like that. There are spectators, and spectating is free. And if there's one in your area, like it's definitely a cool thing to check out. But spectators are most often family and friends, and these ranges are usually in the middle of nowhere. So they must really love you to be coming out there. The coolest thing about nationals last year, it was back at TSA and at RPR. So like two different ranges, but TSA is the one that's like 15, 20 minutes up the road. And our gym obviously is right here. So coolest thing ever with that was like, we had a lot of our members come out and watch as a spectator thing, which for me was like such a special moment because you don't get spectators like that often. So I got to compete in front of like, specifically there's these little boys, their mom went to our gym, and they were asking me leading into it like, oh, you're going to do tactical games, you're going to shoot guns, and then they got to come out and see it, which is really cool. And like plenty of other members at our gym got to come out and see what we do that maybe don't know anything about guns but know about fitness, and they can relate to that when they watch that. You know what I mean? To like understand.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Do they stream it? Do they stream the TAC Nationals?
Yeah, they did last year. They should again this year too.
Hey, any like crazy stuff, like you climb a rope halfway up and you shoot the gun from there, or you're submerged underwater, with only like your head above? No, nothing like that. Is that in the future? Will there be shit like that?
No, I think it's too just too unsafe. Like it just wouldn't work out. Right. It's funny. Okay. There's a shirt. Each event has a different shirt design, just cool art to signify each event. And there's one that has a person riding a horse and shooting a rifle off like the side of the horse while they're riding it. And I wore it to the store once, and this lady stopped me. She goes, "You shoot guns off of horses? That's so cool." I was like, well, not quite that cool, but you can do this other thing. That's funny.
What's it cost to enter a regional event?
I got about 5 minutes, just so you know, and I got to go coach. But
okay, you can't be on for 5 hours.
Got to coach to 12:30. For a regional event, I think the entry fee is around like $350.
Okay.
And then your travel expenses out there, ammo. Usually you shoot, I think it's like 250 rounds of each is what they usually tell you to bring out. And then nationals is just a little bit more because it's a 3-day event instead of the regionals are a 2-day event.
And how much is that? 500 rounds of ammo?
It totally depends on what you buy, how bougie you are.
What is like some expensive for the good stuff? I would only use the good stuff.
Some rifle ammo that I might shoot is over $1 a round. So I think it'd be like close to $650, maybe a little bit more. 50. The specific federal ammo that I was looking at the other day, 500 rounds. Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah, that's what I'd be thinking every time I pulled the trigger. Fuck $1.
Yeah, so it's funny. My husband gives me so much crap because he's like, Jenay, you will literally burn money downrange, like literally send dollars downrange into this freaking dirt hill, but you're frugal about going on vacation. He goes, blast money into this berm, and meanwhile, I have zero remorse about it. I'm full send. Like I would dump my bank accounts right now to go buy a bunch of ammo and just shoot it. Like I'm that kind of crazy wired to compete in tactical games right now. So
That's like when I go to the grocery store and there's like a big bucket, there's like the big box of avocados. I don't even see avocados. I just see a stack of money. I'm like, fuck, $4 a pop.
yeah. So my husband is more logical thinking in that way, and I'm like, F it, let's go. Like,
yeah, I like your attitude.
All of the rounds.
Yeah, well, that's why you're so good. And so did you when the new ownership came in, did it increase in size or did it shrink? How's it going?
I think it's still been steadily increasing for sure.
Okay. Did you guys lose anyone? Was there any big online crazy fight or anything like that?
No, I don't think there was as much upheaval like that. Like I said, like Nick was already working in the sport and people knew him, so it's just kind of like an adjacent like transfer over. It felt like for the competitor, just an average Joe competitor looking up at it, they're like, all right, it just moved over. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, holy crap, we have this whole new person coming in with all these different ideas. That was Jared when he took over tactical games in the old days, and he definitely improved it a lot. From what I understand, I wasn't personally around for that. And then, got it rolling really well, got it on a good trajectory. And then Nick took it over, and it's just been, obviously continuing that drive. And yeah, we're trying to watch the sport grow and get more people involved in, because it's pretty awesome. And it has so much benefit outside of just competing in the sport, right? Like you now know how to defend yourself should you ever have a need to. And so many people, I feel like, especially for women, they have guns in their house and maybe don't know how to use them, what good is it? So
Gotcha. When is your next training day? When is it? Where can someone go and see classes that they can take from you? Like, hey, I want to bring me and my wife and my 18-year-old daughter. We want to learn how to shoot from you.
So we currently are doing an athlete camp in the end of September, I believe the 27th and the 28th. It's a Saturday, Sunday. And I think we for sure have 1 or 2 spots available. If we get more interest in it, we'll actually bring an additional instructor down that I don't know if I'm allowed to say who it is, but everyone would love it if we brought the additional instructor down, and that would be Athlete Camp is next. There you go, September 27th through 28th. So
what's the website?
If we get, I'll have to link it in the comments. Maybe Jake can send it through day one. Because is
it dayoneperspective.com?
It's in our Instagram bio. So maybe you should the Instagram bio. I think we were working on connecting the domain. So I just made the website for this like a couple weeks ago. So I'm working on it. I'm learning a lot. But we were just working off of word of mouth and Instagram prior. Yeah, that's our account. So we have our YouTube connected on there. And if the link isn't on there, we'll connect it. We'll connect it today. So it'll be up there. But yeah, we're doing athlete camp next. And then honestly, I'm a little focused on training for nationals coming out until November when nationals is. And then after that, we'll get back into training days again, maybe starting back up in December or January. But all of our info will be put out on our Instagram. So.
And what city is the camp in?
We're in Liberty Hill, Texas.
Liberty Hill, Texas. And won't they stay? Can you bring your motorhome out there and just stay out there?
Good question. At TSA, I think that they might allow that, but there's plenty of RV like camp things within a mile of that range if they wanted to do an RV thing. And then there's also a ton of accommodations right here in Liberty Hill or Leander or Georgetown, Texas. All of them are drivable to the locations that we're in. For our athlete camp, we'll be going to another range called Revelry Peak Ranch, which is out in a little bit further away, like 40 minutes east of where we're at, northeast. So yeah, definitely reach out to Day One Perspective or to my Instagram if there's any questions and how to get connected and all of that. But yeah.
Oh, and anyone can come, men, women. Anyone.
Yeah.
Just don't bring your dog. It's not dog friendly.
I mean, your dog can come, but they're not going to be up at the firing line with us.
All right. Hey, thank you so much. Great to meet you.
Yeah, thank you, Siobhan. It's a pleasure talking to you. Great to meet you. And yeah, I really appreciate the opportunity to come on and share about my sport. And
yeah, you're a wonderful human. I hope to have you on again. Good luck. The nationals are in, you said November?
Yep, November. I want to say like 15th through 17th ish. It's over one of those weekends. So
all right, cool. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Off to coaching. Ciao.
Bye.
Bye. Jenay DeCaussin. I have to pee. Wow, holy shit! 3 hours and 23 minutes. What a great story, huh? I'm struggling to see how she went from 2022 to her first comp to 2 national champs. Crazy. She's very articulate. Yeah, that's very racist of you to say that and sexist. I know that means hold on, let me check my woke dictionary. That means that you don't think white women can be articulate. When you say that, I got it. Yeah, cool chick. Yeah, I knew you'd like her. She's cool. She's really cool. Isn't that crazy, David? You like a girl who doesn't put out until she's married. Process that. I want you to sit on that for I want you to sit on that one for like a month. Just kind of mull that over in your head. Meditate on that. That's like throwing, David, is that like throwing just a big, huge, like one of those giant steel rogue wrenches in your wood chipper? Like, yeah, good. I get it. I feel you. It's like, wait, what? Huh? That doesn't make any sense. If you want to shoot with the vice president, sounds like he will be in Utah for a shooting show. God, I gotta pee. I gotta see what's going on in the house too. Trying to think what I should do. What is today? Today's Tuesday. Trying to figure out what I should do. If I should, let me see what my wife said. I better call. Hold on a second. Stand by. Sorry. Got to figure it out. I got to pee and I got to know. It's a long time to not be in touch with my family. Hi.
Hello.
Hi, where are you?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
What's
up?
I have to pee.
Okay. That's what you called to tell me?
No, what am I doing today?
Do you need help?
What am I doing today?
We have to figure out how we want to do the private tennis.
Oh shit.
Which starts at noon. But like, does Ari and Joey want to do an hour each? Because Avi can't.
Yes. Oh, okay. So how about that? How about I meet you there? What time is gymnastics over?
Well, it's over earlier today because we started earlier. So 10:45-ish.
Okay.
10:30. 10:45.
I'll meet you there at 11:30.
At tennis?
Yeah, that way I can play with them for like a half hour before. And don't worry, if you're late, you're late. I don't care. I'll just hang out and stare at the hot tennis moms.
And you'll bring Ari?
Because I have the boys. Yeah, and I'll bring Ari and I'll just leave Avi here.
Okay, I have Ari's tennis shoes and I didn't pack socks. I was thinking for some reason I would come home first. So can you bring 2 pairs of socks?
Yeah.
And Ari's tennis bag.
Will you text me that?
You got it?
No, will you text me that?
Want me to text it to you? Okay.
Yeah. She's getting annoyed.
Okay.
My wife never gets annoyed with me. You're crazy. Or I have it completely blocked out on how to interpret it.
I'm not annoyed. I'm just talking quietly because I'm in their gymnastics studio.
All right. Will you send me a video of Joey doing something cool?
Not annoyed this time. Yes.
All right. I love you.
He's okay.
Did you
Love
listen
you.
to any of that podcast?
Just the beginning, and it made me want to reach out to Dave and learn how to shoot a gun.
Yeah,
or go to their program.
That chick is cool.
Yeah, very.
Yeah, she's super.
But I
cool.
didn't get very far.
All right.
Okay, let me film Joey.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
No, I don't play tennis barefoot. That's a great question. You know, for a while, Avi used to play a lot of tennis barefoot, and then it's crazy. The instructor's like, "Hey, dude, you can't do that. He has to be able. The shoes have to be tight, and he has to be able to slide." No, you don't need socks. I would play tennis. The only thing you can't play tennis in is loose shoes. If you play in sandals, you'll blow your fucking knees out. I played in sandals once. Very stupid. Very stupid. You could theoretically, if you played enough overtime barefoot, you could build probably some nice calluses on the inside and outside of your foot for sliding. Couldn't you, Chris? Couldn't you do that? Like just like, don't you think you could play barefoot and then slide and like you would just eventually, after you tore the skin off a few times, you would build a crazy callus? Yeah, you can't wear sandals. I wore sandals once to play tennis, and they were tight sandals, but if your foot moves around in there, your knee does some crazy shit. Yeah. That's no. Oh no, you can't. All right. Fine. All right. Okay. I won't. No barefoot tennis. Taylor doing burpee box jump overs barefoot was crazy. Oh, did he do last week's Kill Taylor barefoot? I was doing some burpees barefoot the other day, and as I was sliding my foot back, my big toe must have had a loose piece of skin on it, and it just fucking ripped off a fucking thick callus, a monster one, probably the size of a 50-cent piece, just right off the bottom of my big toe. It was not cool. It was fucked up. It was crazy. I ran that 651 yesterday on the air runner barefoot. Ran an 830 barefoot and then went straight into that 651. I was so proud of myself. I was so fucking proud of myself. Because Hiller had gotten into my head where I thought I was lying. So I have very strong toes. Jesus Christ. Do you still have your code for Biomax peptides? Asking for a friend. Yeah, use Hiller or Sevon. Or use Hiller or Sevon, or try Games 25. Maybe she forgot to turn that off. Maybe that still does something. Daniel Larson, $4.99, the guy who's better than Grant at Hillerfit. No, I ran a mile on the air runner in 651 or 650, I think. 650. I ran my first mile in 8:30. So I'll tell you what happened. So I told Andrew I could run a mile in 9 minutes. And then without getting off the air runner, I told him I ran one in 7 minutes for an average of 16 minutes. And he then Googled while we were live on the air saying, oh, that would put you in the top 1% of being 53. And I'm not in the top 1% of fucking anything. So I was like, oh, fuck. Did I just make that up? And I started tripping. So then I was like, I started thinking, I was like, okay, I'm going to go do it and run it and see what happens. And then I was halfway through the first mile with like a 9-minute pace. And I thought, well, fuck. Maybe I was wrong and I didn't run a 7-minute mile. So what I need to do now is run at 8:30 and a 7:30, and then at least I can say, hey, I ran 2 miles in 16 minutes, right? So then I'm halfway through the first mile, and so I start running faster, right, to get the pace down to like an 8-minute mile. So then I got like 8.5 minutes for my first mile, and then I just started fucking running fast. And I kept it at like between 7:03. Well, what I thought was fast. It was kind of scary being on. And my ankle was killing me the first mile, but it went away after it went away as I entered the second mile. As I started running faster, I probably got better form. And I I saw it stay between a 7:03 and a 7:13. And then like every minute at the top of the minute, I would run it like at a 5:56 mile for like 10 or 15 seconds, really fast. And so it ended up being like a 6:50, 6:51, something like that. I can't remember, and then I fell on the ground. So right as I saw the thing click to 2 miles, I hit stop on the air runner. And I was so nervous it was going to erase the data. But I hit stop and I noticed it didn't erase the data. So I laid on the ground and I was like trying to see, I thought I was going to throw up. I spit in my garage twice. I can't remember the last time I spit in my garage. I spit twice on the wall because the air runner faces the wall, but I was going to choke. I was running so fucking fast and it was so hard for me that I thought I was going to choke on my saliva. And so it was horrible. And I just eaten some pistachios before I got on the air runner. It was a mess. And so then I jump off the air runner and I'm on my side in the fetal position, kind of like doing that thing where you're scanning your body, like wondering if you're going to throw up. And then I thought, oh, fuck, I better get up and take a picture of that monitor. And I got up to take a picture and it was all zeros. And so then what I did is I tested the monitor. I ran like 20 feet on the air runner and I hit stop. And then I watched to see how long before it clears. And it clears basically as soon as you hit stop on the air runner, like it shows you stats. It shows you each page of stats for like 10 seconds. And there's 4 pages. So after like 41 or 51 seconds, that shit's gone. Ari, what's up? What's up? What do you need? Oh, okay. I'm almost done. Probably not. You can come in here and see me work, but you can't come on. Unless you want me to lecture you on how you need to be nicer.
Okay.
Who's the best at ping pong in the house right now? Who's the ping pong champion? I know who the best in the house is. I know who currently holds the title.
You. Joey. Avi.
You really don't know who the best at ping pong is in the house?
Mom. I said Avi.
I know, but if you guess everyone, it means you don't know.
Yeah. Oh my God.
How could it not be Avi?
Do I sound bad?
Yeah, you don't sound bad, but you sound like you sound sick.
Yeah, he does. God. Someone on?
No, there was this cool chick on for a while.
Yeah, I know. Who?
Jenay DeCaussin. She's like a shooting champion.
Oh, that's cool. How was Joe Ellis?
Joe Ellis was good too. Joe Ellis was great yesterday. And then I had Dalton Rosta on.
Oh, I found this on the floor.
Oh, let me see that.
Was he cool?
He's so cool. We're gonna watch his fight on Thursday.
Who? Yeah.
Dalton Rosta.
Who's that?
The fighter guy.
UFC boxing.
PFL, Professional Fight League. The air runner cannot be calibrated correctly.
Wait, how do you what does your
No, there's no way I could have swallowed, Chris. There's no way. I did not want to spit so bad, but there was no way I could swallow. And I was sweating for like 2 hours after I did it. And I told Hiller that, and he goes, "That's because you don't do intensity." Go ahead. Sorry, Avi. Go ahead.
what does UFC stand for?
Ultimate Fighting Championship, which I thought was always a stupid name, but now I've gotten used to it. When I was a kid, this word ultimate, there was like in the 90s, I think it was in the 90s, the word ultimate showed up everywhere. The ultimate TV set, the ultimate hamburger, the ultimate, it just became like this word. It was everywhere. It was so ridiculous.
Just got famous?
Yeah. And then there was this other word that came out, HD, high definition. And everything was high. It was supposed to be just TVs that were high definition, but they did it with everything. High definition audio, high definition guns, high definition TV.
Hamburger.
Like everything became high definition. And now it's AI. Everything's AI. I have a AI. You know what AI stands for?
Yeah.
What?
No.
What?
I don't know.
Artificial intelligence.
Oh, okay.
AI. How was the piano?
Good.
How was Armenian?
Good.
You're a great guest.
I felt horrible this morning.
Tell me about it.
It's like my nose was really stuffy and like I just feel terrible. Like last night was great. I didn't fall asleep with an
You
adult in my
talk too
bed.
loud. You talk too loud.
I know I do.
But last night was great. You fell asleep with an adult in your bed?
No, with no adults.
Oh, with no adults. Like you're grown ass, like you're a big boy now.
No, I just slept with my twin brother and that's it. I got plenty of space.
You talk too loud.
No, someone needs to turn down his mic. Yeah.
I don't know which mic is yours.
You don't? Then you shouldn't
Talk
run a
again.
show.
Talk again, Ari?
Hello?
No, not that one. How about now? Oh, yeah, it's that one.
That's too low. That's
Yeah.
perfect. That's good.
Hey, last night, I never do this. It was so hot in the house. I woke up probably like at 5 a.m. and I was still on top of the covers. Like I didn't sleep with any covers.
I woke up at 6.
I was just in my underwear on top of the bed in the same position I fell asleep in on my back. Were you hot last night? I hate it when it's hot in the house.
I love when it's hot in the house.
You do?
No.
Oh,
Have you ever been like so
you're
hot?
a douche.
Have you ever been
No, you
so
are.
hot from outside when you were a kid? And then you would go into your mom's room or your room and just hug a pillow because it's so cold?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Don't do that in my room. I don't like you dirty fuckers on my
Yeah,
bed.
but our
You know what I mean?
pillows are so warm. The sun is just beaming on our pillows.
Just don't touch any of my bedding. Like don't come in my room when you're dirty.
Don't worry. I probably won't.
What do you mean? You're
No,
the dirtiest one out of the family.
I
Yeah.
see you guys will be outside playing in the yard, playing in the dirt barefoot and shit, and then you guys will run in and just be fighting on my bed. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, yeah, because it's comfortable.
Yeah, when we smack our head on the ground.
It won't hurt.
No.
And we can't do pillow fights in our room because we have airplanes and Legos.
I'm so glad I got all my Legos like
At your room.
Ari.
Listen, if you want to talk to me.
Talk in private.
No, I was gonna say, come on the show. You want to have a conversation with me? I'm on the show.
Hey Heidi, can we call spam?
No.
No, if someone spams us, I'll answer it and you can talk to him. How's that? Someone will call. That spam shit still happens.
Really?
Does?
Like, does it happen every show?
Yeah, it happens every show. It's happened already like 20 times. Today I haven't been answering it. My son got my father-in-law in a chokehold today and he almost passed out. Didn't tap, loser. Listen, this fucking ding dong Ari choked me about 2 weeks ago and my throat still hurts from it. And I asked the instructor, I'm like, hey, my throat really hurts. And he's like, yeah, he crushed your windpipe. Hurts on the left side here. You feel bad for that?
Kind of.
Well, you finally learned your lesson.
It hurts a little bit when I swallow. And he didn't I was fighting both of them at the same time. So, there's that.
They're hiring
Who?
a person at Kumon.
No, Avi. No. I
How-
don't think so.
How is it that Ari has cracked the code better than you have?
And
How is it that
No,
Ari's
no,
more socially
Avi.
responsible than you? How the
No,
fuck is that
no,
possible?
no,
He's
no,
fucking
no,
8. This is like the
no,
third
no,
time in a
no.
week.
and this girl is wearing a dress. Well, I think it's a girl. I don't know.
What is wrong with you?
Everything.
Why are you telling that story?
My teacher-
Ari, oh,
My teacher thinks it's a girl, but her voice is like deep,
Okay, Avi, that's too much. That's a little too much.
like really deep. I don't know. It's just weird.
Deep as yours?
No, deeper. I mean, I can see a little girl in here, but
oh my god. Okay. Well, thank you for that contribution.
oh, you're welcome.
No,
You-
thank you.
You won't be going to Kumon anymore.
Someone's probably listening to this.
Everybody's listening.
Well, I mean like from someone from Kumon Center.
Hey, Heidi,
Yes.
if we had found a house that had the same like yard and a bigger house, would you sell this house and buy that house?
No.
I don't. No. I like this house. I don't want to move.
Yeah, I love this house too.
What do you mean?
Like, what if it was like,
Like a bigger house, like with more bedrooms and stuff, and
yeah, would
And-
you like? Do you move?
No, our garden's beautiful.
And like it would have like a garden.
it took. Well, just to put the garden in perspective, I mean, I planted these trees 8 years ago, and they're finally like. It takes like 5 years. You guys don't play with the mics.
I'm not.
You were, and now Avi can't stop fidgeting with them. It takes 8 years for a fruit tree to.
Bro.
It just to like start being like 5 to 10 years for a fruit tree to start like doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's kind of like you, Avi. You're 10 and you're finally like.
Doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, you're kind of like almost a competent human being. You can do the fundamentals. You can eat, wipe your ass.
So can I.
You're still a little socially. Ari's passed you up in being socially responsible. What?
I don't really care
his-
about that.
His social IQ has surpassed yours.
You know what? As long as I'm kind and I look cool.
Well, you're both of those.
And I
You're
have
very.
a wife and 3 kids. I don't really
You
care
are
about
very
that.
kind, and you do look cool.
Yeah, but those peaches we have back there.
Yeah. Who ate all the peaches on the tree?
Me?
Did you really?
Oh, Dre and Rebel came over and we ate all the peaches.
Yeah, Dre and Rebel. Like sometimes Rebel will just take a bite and then throw it.
Oh, that's not okay. That's not okay. You put the smack down on her if she does that. Hey, you can't do that. Just so you know. You just tell them.
I think we do.
Good. Because I went out there yesterday and there was only 2 peaches left on the tree and they were way up high.
Yeah, those are the best ones.
Yeah, but we
But
can't reach
couldn't
them.
reach them.
And I'm just like, wow, someone cleaned out all the peaches.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, yeah. I don't mind if you guys sit back there. You guys can eat whatever the fuck you want, but don't waste the food.
Okay.
Don't throw it on the ground.
Well, what if it's like has like worms in it? and
Then
stuff?
bring it inside. I'll cut the worm out.
Okay.
Yeah. Just bring it inside. I mean, if it's rotting and it's got mold on it,
Okay.
then it's like, like some of those apples are not salvageable.
Oh.
Hey, when we go to Newport, we should like fill a
Bring
bag of apples.
Apples like
and-
we did last time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then when we get to the house, we can put it.
Yeah. We
I
can
was
do.
doing our meeting with Ms. Mighty.
Yeah.
It was like, say this word. I'm like, I can't talk.
What was the word?
I don't remember.
Of course he does remember. I can't remember nothing.
Is your Armenian better than Ari's?
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit.
Not a little bit, by a lot.
All right. You guys want to go play ping pong? I have to take you to
Tennis.
tennis in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm
Am I
gonna
going to jiu-jitsu today?
Yeah. You're going to jiu-jitsu today. Avi, you have therapy today.
Wait, are we doing hill sprints?
You have what's it called? Chiropractic therapy or physical therapy or whatever.
Yeah,
Physical.
that physical therapy.
Physical therapy.
Wait, how do you have hill sprints?
You have hill sprints today
Still,
With Joey?
with Joey. We'll do
I
those
still need
tonight.
some more food in me.
Okay, let's go eat.
Yeah, I need some more food in me too. So hungry.
Why do you always keep telling me to calm down? No one's freaking out because you destroy him at Hillerfit, and it's gotten completely under his skin that he's just tripping. Just that some people, he prides himself on being good at working out, and you came along and ass pounded him, so he doesn't like that. Any other questions? Any other Sevon, if someone were talking about you in a group text, would you want to know what they're saying, or would you tell that person to stop being a snitch and to not tell you? I don't think that there's like an answer for that. I don't think there's an answer for that. It was like I'll tell you a story. So after Taylor, so one, I don't like to spread like bad information like that could hurt people's friendships. So like if I'll give you an example. When I was at CrossFit, if there were 2 of my friends and they were both employees at CrossFit and they didn't like each other and they were talking shit about each other, or one was talking shit about the other, I wouldn't share the information no matter what, because I didn't want to exacerbate I didn't want to exacerbate the problem, right? I'm like, I only want to spread the information that might help heal it. So that I wouldn't share. But the other day, when Taylor had his cock issue, we got off the I was talking on the phone with Taylor, and he was like, man, basically he was just venting to me about what a D-bag Dave is. And I told Dave, I shared some of it with Dave, and then I told Taylor that I shared some of it with Dave, and Taylor's like, you fucking idiot. I don't mean any of that stuff. I'm just processing all of this emotionally, you fucking moron. And he was right. Like I didn't do the right thing. Like a lot of times when people are saying shit to you, they're just processing. So I don't know. I don't think it can be like if I wouldn't, like, if someone texts me, let's say we went to Albany, and I'm friends with Jenny, and then one of my other friends was like, it was texting me about Jenny, like, oh shit, that was oh, you boys probably shouldn't be in here for this.
You should.
No. Anyway, that was going to be a great example. It's not true, but it was going to be a great example. It was going to have BOOBS in it.
E-O.
All right, I gotta go. I'm not doing this. I can't. No, you can tell me stuff. I usually don't. Here's the thing. I have such a healthy ego that usually 99% of the people who don't like me, I'm pretty sure that it's just because they wish they were friends with me. And so whether that's true or not, that's kind of how I process that, and I really believe it. As Colt Merton says, I'm delusional, and I think I can win every workout. Like I can't imagine someone not wanting to be friends with me. I'm so fun. Anyway.
Kind of.
What?
No, I'm joking.
99 too much on the phone.
99% of the people that don't like you have boobs.
I love you guys. See you guys later. Bye-bye.